Light work, Monday Night Football. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. I'm Alex Strope alongside the mayor, former mayor of Oak Creek.
Reporting for duty.
Reporting for duty, indeed. The host of the Political Power Hour each and every morning on 620 WTMJ. Steve Scafidi with me here in Green Bay. Gabe Neitzel is back at the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Good evening, Gabriel.
What's happening? What's the weather like up there, boys? Is it cold enough where practicing in a freezer is going to be good enough to prepare yourself?
Dude, you're so good at this. How'd you know we were going to start there? Yeah, how ridiculous is that? No, we'll get to it in a moment. Steve, put your meteorology cap on for us. Give us the weather update.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Alex, or Gabe, my dad was a meteorologist. So
I did not know.
I am the perfect man for this job. So basically, when I was a kid, when I was your age, this was flurries. That's what we're looking at right now. Flurries. The temperature's perfect. The wind's light.
Yes, it is.
As long as the field's not too slick, should be no problem at all.
Yeah, they had it tarped up all weekend. So, Steve, we were talking off the air a little bit. I imagine they're pulling the tarp off. It won't be too messy or too sloppy. The snow is slowing down. It's supposed to come to a complete stop in the next 2 hours. Prior to game time, we're with you until 7:15 tonight on Green Bay Game Day, leading you up to kickoff. So it's been fine. It's been snowing the last few hours, Gabe, but it's not too cold. I've got 2 sweatshirts and a jacket on. I'm wearing a pair of sweatpants underneath my jeans, but only 1 pair of socks today.
Okay.
So I am braving the elements, is the way I view it currently.
I got 4 layers on. I got 4 layers on.
4 layers.
I feel good.
You're sitting inside. What
am.
What are you dressing up for?
Because it's cold right now.
Okay, that's fair. Can't argue.
That doesn't help me when I'm sitting in there. Right now it's cold here.
Can't argue with that. All right, Alex Strofe, Steve Scafidi, Gabe Neitzel with you. It is Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Gabe referenced it at the top, one of the funniest, most bizarro world headlines I've seen in a long time in the NFL. And don't get it twisted. There's a lot of bizarro headlines in the world of the National Football League. This one just isn't going to do it for you. So earlier this week, it was on Saturday, that the Saints quarterback coach pulled in Spencer Rattler, who will be starting the game tonight for the Saints at quarterback, and the rest of their quarterback room into their cafeteria walk-in freezer and ran plays. That was their way of adjusting to the elements in Green Bay down in the bayou by working in a walk-in freezer. Gabe, does that give you any level of fear of what Spencer Rattler is bringing to Lambeau Field on national television tonight?
I love the quote from Rattler saying that it was 10 degrees in there. We're just going through the whole script in there doing just that. It helped a lot. So hopefully it's not 10 degrees, but we'll be ready. Apparently the idea coming from the movie Cool Runnings, which, again, I am a big fan of. Fantastic movie from my childhood. But this is a first one on me. Like, this is the first time I have ever heard of anyone going, hey, this sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it's not great. Steve, you were in a leadership position for a long time, right? In the business world, you were mayor, Creek. I mean, this is nuts.
It's stupid.
Yes, that's probably a better word.
Here's what you do. You're not going to be able to like duplicate what that feels like. You'll learn that when you're playing around on the field before the game what it's like. Just deal with it. You're a grown up. You're a pro football player. You're a quarterback. Deal with it. And you already seem like you're weak to me. And maybe the Packers will pick up on that and nail his ass a few times when they're running after him.
Steve, how do you feel about the teams? And we saw this actually in the college football playoff this weekend. How do you feel about the guys who just decide when they go out for pregame warm-ups, they're going out shirtless? It's not cold. It doesn't bother me.
Who are you psyching out when you do that?
Nobody. It's a cliche now, and it's stupid, and don't do that. You look dumb. You look dumb. It's cold out. Play football. That's what we pay you for.
You know how they have those buttons that people have on their desk where you click it and they say that was easy?
Yeah.
We should get one of Steve Scafidi saying, that's stupid.
That's the stupid button. Give me the stupid button. Where is it?
I mean, that would fit very well right now, given that warm. So, okay, all jokes aside from this the stupid freezer antics and warm-ups to adjust to the weather, the New Orleans Saints do nothing that makes me fear them. Like, Gabe, you gave me a hard time when they played Chicago after the bye, and I always said, there's a 0% chance. I feel way better about this game than I ever did about that Chicago game. New Orleans doesn't do anything very well. They're very beat up. No Derek Carr, no Alvin Kamara, no Chris Olave, no Taysom Hill on the offensive side of the football. I cannot conjure up anything in my brain that makes me go, oh, yeah, that's the path to a loss for Green Bay. Other than a catastrophic injury, other than that, I cannot, and knock on wood, I'll do that right here in the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio. I cannot picture anything that the Saints do well that makes me fear them as a Packers fan, Gabe.
Well, to that point, Trey Wingo tweeted this out right before we went on air. You may not be in love with Derek Carr, but there's a deep drop-off in New Orleans without him. With Carr under center, the Saints are 5-5, averaging 24.5 points per game and 350 yards per game. Like, that's a team that, okay, if the Packers, have a couple of big mistakes, maybe the Saints can make you pay if you can score 24.5 points per game. With Haener and Rattler playing, the Saints are 0-4, averaging 16 points per game and just 296 yards per game. So there is a steep drop-off when Derek Carr is not in there for New Orleans. And look, maybe if this game was in New Orleans, I could go, okay, the Packers make some mistakes. Maybe they make something happen. But again, when you are practicing in a freezer, you are out of ideas in how to compete with the Packers on Monday Night Football.
You are out of ideas.
Look, this is a game the Packers should easily win, right? They're
Yes.
14-point favorite, 2 touchdown
14 and a
favorites.
half, yeah.
I'm pretty confident Jordan Love has sort of figured it out in the last few weeks. That part's
Agreed.
good. Jacobs is ready to run his you-know-what off tonight.
Yeah.
It's perfect conditions for him. He's designed for these kinds of games. There's nothing that should be surprising here. And the fact that the other guy's quarterback is called Spencer Rattler, which is like a name you'd put in a movie about
Sounds like
football.
a WWE wrestler.
Yeah, it's like a fake name. Like who is, you know this guy? Do you know Spencer Rattler? Where'd he come from? Where did he play ball?
He was pretty good in college. Where was he? South Carolina?
Yes.
Okay.
He was South
This
Carolina
isn't college. This is not college. And freezers aren't cold like it isn't going to be in Lambeau. So get over it. Play football. I'm not worried about this game. There's no such thing as a relaxed game because bad teams have beaten good teams
Right.
before. But this is a game, you don't know this, guys, but I watch games at home when I'm not here. And at least once this season, in every game, I get up and I yell, "What the hell's going on out there?" This is not that game. I will not yell that tonight.
Steve Lombardi Scafidi.
I got the coat on, too.
Yeah, you do indeed.
We just need to get him the hat.
Yeah, we do.
Where's that hat?
I don't know if I could get anybody to bring me one is the issue. I don't know that those are very much in style in 2000.
I don't. You'd have to buy it on eBay.
Yeah, I might have to.
Borrow one from Nick Saban. He's been wearing those types
true,
of hats
he has
on
been.
True.
College
Good
game day.
point.
College game.
Yeah, we'll just give him a quick ring, Gabe. I know you're Mr. National. You've probably got connections to Nick Saban's wardrobe. So you work on that for us before Scafidi leaves us at the end of the hour. So one thing that has been brought up quite a bit, and Steve kind of just mentioned it there in passing, is looking ahead or a trap game. But the one thing I would say to anybody that says, hey, the Packers or everybody talking about this game is looking past the Saints and looking at the Vikings is nobody in that locker room is, because the Packers still have something to play for this week. It's as simple as this for playoff situations. You win and you're in. You clinch a playoff spot with a win over the New Orleans Saints tonight. So that really makes me stop and go, there's no way these guys are looking past New Orleans and looking ahead to Minnesota next Sunday, because they got to win tonight. They got to take care of business and lock up their spot in the postseason before they can even pay attention to Minnesota. So any talk of a trap game, I'm throwing right out the window. Anybody have any issues with that?
No, I don't, because I agree with you. And also, you don't want to drop down to that 7 seed, which you would do if you were to lose tonight's game. If yesterday the Washington Commanders beating the Eagles did no favors for the Packers, because Washington would have a tiebreaker over Green Bay. And if you lose just one of your last 3 games and they win out, you fall to that 7 seed. It's hard enough, Strofe, it's hard enough to go on the road 3 weeks in a row. To have to go to that number 2 seed, which is likely going to be the Eagles, and then right after that have to go to presumably Detroit, like that would just be a really tough road for the Packers, and they know this. You would much rather play Atlanta or the Los Angeles Rams or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that first round, and in order to get a more favorable matchup, you need to win your final 3 games.
You sure do. And obviously it starts tonight with a win and you're in scenario on the line for Green Bay. Obviously a win also would help them stay in that 6th seed and a game in front of Washington. You know, what this weekend, and Steve, when he was doing his Vince Lombardi impression on his couch yesterday watching some football, what this weekend showed me, and I'm curious if either of you disagree with this, is that I frankly believe anybody could come out of the NFC. Now, I still think Philadelphia and Detroit are the teams to watch. I think they're the two best teams in the NFC yet. But seeing what Washington was able to do, and I know Jalen Hurts got knocked out of that game early, but they still had a 2-touchdown lead with Kenny Pickett playing quarterback. I know Kenny Pickett isn't Jalen Hurts, but he is not the worst option as a backup quarterback in the National Football League. I think Washington can score points with anybody. I clearly think Minnesota is still pretty darn good. You don't trip your way to 13-2. Green Bay is obviously hitting their stride. It's at least seemingly hitting their stride after what we saw last week in Seattle. It seems to me, outside of the NFC West and NFC South winner, the NFC could be anybody's ball game come playoff time, which is exciting, especially when you have a team and root for a team that will be playing on the road as a wild card.
I think you're right. There's 6 great teams in the NFC right now that are playing really well.
Really good football, yeah.
And are there 6 great teams in the AFC? I don't know.
I don't know that I'd say yes to that.
Yeah, there's 3.
There's 3.
So right now, Powers in the NFC. I think they're gonna whoever comes out of this thing is gonna be battle tested. They're gonna beat the best, and whatever comes out of the AFC, whether that's the Chiefs or Buffalo Bills or whoever it is, I think they'll be ready for it.
I do too. And this is not the greatest warm-up game by any means, getting ready for the postseason in a couple of weeks, but next week is a good one, right? You go on the road to a hostile environment against a divisional opponent who whooped your you-know-whats earlier in the year. Next week is a great test as you gear up for the postseason. While the Bears have been stinky bad this year, they still always bring their best game, even though it's in Green Bay and it's the final week of the season. Those guys are getting ready for vacation. They're still going to bring a tough test in Week 18 as well. So,
by their own words, they're getting ready for vacation.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw DJ. It was a DJ Moore game.
It was DJ Moore, yes. DJ Moore, when they were being asked about going into the game this week, thinking about the offseason and all these things, he's like, man, I'm thinking about my vacation.
Yeah, really dedicated guy. Their highest paid player, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'll think about vacation when I'm on vacation. Right now it's football season.
Right now it is time to think about the Lombardi Trophy as the Packers continue to set their sights on a postseason run. Alex Strofe, Steve Scafidi from the Political Power Hour on 620 WTMJ with us. Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy and a million other shows on ESPN Wisconsin with us back in Milwaukee. We are with you until 7:15 tonight as we count you down to kickoff between the Packers and Saints. It's Monday Night Football here at Lambeau Field. The Packers win tonight, and they clinch a spot in the postseason. Hey, this holiday season, the Salvation Army needs your help. Every dollar donated helps to provide meals, shelter, and emergency support to local families in crisis, not just at Christmas time, but all year long. Join us in making a difference. Visit SalvationArmyWI.org to donate today. That's SalvationArmyWI, like Wisconsin.org, to donate today. We will continue to preview this one. Packers Saints Monday Night Football. Coming up next, it's Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Simple. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. And again, you can win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, 'cause Truckstar Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts, because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truckstar Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truckstar is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truckstar Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, with you live, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 620 WTMJ, and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Shout out Dowd County with us today as well. I'm Alex Strofe. Steve Scafidi, Gabe Neitzel hanging out with you. Steve and I live in the shadow of Lambeau Field at the Tundra Trio up in Green Bay. Had a Monday Night Football tonight. It's Packers, Saints, and Vegas says you don't really need to watch because it's going to be a blowout. 14.5-point favorites. Look, I'm not nervous at all for this game. I actually think the Packers will cover that 14.5. I think they win big tonight. But that number is huge. That's the one thing where I'm like, ugh.
We were trying to figure out when the last time they had a spread that big was.
I'm bad at research on lines. Gabe's smart. Gabe, you have any idea the last time the Packers were 2-touchdown favorites? It's been a long time.
I do not. I will try to get an answer here before we're done with this conversation.
I love that I stumped both of you guys. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, you can stump me pretty easy any day of the week. You should be more proud of yourself for stumping Gabe, who knows everything.
I am. I'm going to walk that one around for a while.
Maybe our friends at the Island Resort and Casino know. The Island Resort and Casino is a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee, with everything you like to do in one awesome location. Visit islandresortandcasino.com. Book your total experience today. All right, I want to talk defense because after what I saw last week in Seattle, I need to talk myself out of how high I'm riding, man. Like, I feel really good about where this Jeff Hafley-led defense is. And granted, Seattle, not the cream of the crop in the NFC, right? We were just talking about there's probably 5 good teams in the NFC that could make a run this postseason. I don't think Seattle's one of them. But they're still a team that's above 500.
Well, they were beating Minnesota up until 3 minutes
exactly
left.
Right? They've been in some really impressive games. It's a tough environment to play. They're well coached. And the Packers, 7 sacks, 2 turnovers, lead from start to finish, and win by 17 points. I mean, defensively, though, it was a complete 4 quarters. It was finally a game we've been waiting to see out of this defense. And as I mentioned, 7 sacks, 2 interceptions. So this is a nice night for that Packers defense. And here they go against an inept offense who's hurt across the board. We could have a repeat of 2 weeks in a row with a controlling defensive performance where all of a sudden, Gabe, we're going, this defense might be vastly improved from a year ago. Where are you at in terms of the pulse of the Packers defense, Gabe Neitzel? Are you sold that this defense has what it takes to help? Okay, you are not.
No, I am not. I mean, because really it's 2.5 quarters. I'm not counting the quarter and a half that Sam Howell was in the game because
I think you should.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that guy's barely an NFL quarterback. So you should make him look the way he looked. And by the way, he also had a touchdown drive in the game. I don't know what to make of the sack numbers because they have 40 sacks on the season and 15 have come in 2 games.
Yep.
You know, it's a lot like what we saw from Rashawn Gary a year ago when he had 9.5 sacks and 6 of those came in 2 games. It's like, okay, like why can't we get a consistent pass rush? Why can't we do something on a consistent basis? And that's what they're going to have to be able to do. If you want to survive 3 straight games on the road, you have to have a pass rush with 4. And they're doing creative different things. We've been able to see Hafley do this from time to time where, you know, you get a bunch of guys near the line of scrimmage, you bail a bunch, 4 guys end up only rushing. That only works so often. You can't do that week in and week out. So you still need to get a lot of production out of Rashawn Gary, out of Lucas Van Ness, out of Kenny Clark. Like these guys need to consistently bring it, and they just haven't all year. So that's where I am skeptical about what happened last week because we saw this earlier this year when they had 8 sacks against the Tennessee Titans, and then we spent every game up until last week talking about, hey, where's this pass rush? What are they going to do? So they have to, then the next 3 weeks, line it up, and not that they have to get 7 sacks and 12 quarterback hits like they did at Seattle, but have some more consistent numbers because the week before against Detroit, 3 quarterback hits, 1 sack, and Jared Goff was incredibly comfortable.
He was. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not sold necessarily they've turned a corner, but I am encouraged by the improvement of play.
That's the right word, encouraged, optimistic. This is something different that we haven't maybe seen. There's always going to be times in a season where you're looking and going, oh, I've seen that defense before. When guys, tight ends are running wide open across the middle of the field. But I'm encouraged by this team. And, you know, sacks come in bunches, and Gabe said it, like 15 in 2 games. That means they got 25 in the other games. They're playing some really good teams. Last time I checked, they've only lost to the best teams. That tells me something. Yeah. This is not a great team they're playing tonight. They should win easily, but anything can happen in a game. But I want to see something from the defense that says, you know what, this is Lambeau Field. It's our conditions. We're going to run all over you, and we're going to stuff you when you try to do anything on offense. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, this is a type of game, Strofe, where only bad things can happen for the defense, right?
Yeah.
Because if they go out and they dominate, it's like, well, yeah, it's Spencer Rattler. You're supposed to.
Right, it's the Saints. They fired their head coach, and they're playing backups at like 7 of the 11 positions. Sure. And that's the other part of this big line, too, Gabe, that I'm a little worried about, right? Because it's 14.5 points. The Packers could theoretically win by 13 points tonight, and people are going to say, it wasn't good enough, right? That's the thing I worry about, which I hope I'm not part of the problem. I just might be part of the problem because there is a legitimate way the Packers could win by 2 scores tonight, and people go, but it's the Saints. You should bury a team like that. And let's say they win by 13. Is that good enough? Do you walk away feeling encouraged if they walk away with a – say 21 to 10 win or 21 to 8 win? I don't know.
It all depends upon how it looks, right? It all depends how it looks because if they're up by a bunch and then the backups give up a couple of touchdowns late and it ends up being a backdoor cover, it's like, well, those are garbage time touchdowns. I don't know how much we're actually going to count that, right? That's so.
Sure.
I think it all depends upon how it looks, which is why my hope is that the Packers give everybody an early Christmas present. Let everybody go to bed halfway through the third quarter. Leave no doubt tonight. Just dominate a team that is they don't even want to win games, man. Like at this point, they just want to have a good draft pick for whoever their next head coach is going to be.
Yep. That's a good point.
It's how it looks and how it feels.
Yes.
We've watched enough football games where they've won by 2 touchdowns, but it felt sloppy, felt messy, felt like it could have unraveled at some point. How it feels is just as important as how it looks. And if this team goes out tonight, plays some good defense, if Jordan Love and Jacobs and their offense and the receivers catch the ball, we're okay. Because next week's the game of the year.
It is. Probably like the 5th time we've said that this year. But
well, this one really is.
This one really is.
Yeah.
This one really is when they go to Minnesota next week in the game of the year.
But to that point, Steve, that's why I wasn't as high on the win last week. And I don't want to take away. Winning by 17 on the road at Seattle is very impressive, but they had a chance to do even more. They had a chance to really put that a game away early third quarter before Geno Smith even got hurt, and instead they went punt, fumble, punt, field goal, punt, downs. Like the offense just really struggled for whatever reason in that second half, and then because of the Edgerrin Cooper touchdown, they punched it in the end zone and were able to go out. So I want to see them dominate like they did in the first half last week, come out of the locker room, continue that domination, and just put it away early in the third.
How many times this year have we had games where the offense just shut down for like a quarter?
Yeah.
We've had a lot of games like that.
Of them.
So that's something you have to address. Matt LaFleur has to be on that. You can't have that happen now or in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. So I understand why Gabe was it sounds pretty concerned about the second half, specifically offensively, a week ago. But the one thing that the Packers did last week that they haven't done a lot of this season is start fast, right? They scored on each of their first 4 drives and got off to a 17-point lead at halftime. Most games you do that in, you're going to win. Now, will you win if you're up 17 at half and completely stall out in the second half in an NFC championship game, say, per se? Probably not, right? It's just something you can't afford. But against teams like the Seahawks and against teams like the Saints and the Bears, who are clearly lower level of competition, if you build a cushion early like the Packers did a week ago to the Seahawks, you're going to walk out of there with a win. And that's something that I've got my eye on tonight on the offensive side of the football is, can they do the fast start again? Because that was the most impressive part of last week's performance and win over Seattle for me, was the fast start. And I think that continues to be an emphasis point for head coach Matt LaFleur, because you get up 10-0, all of a sudden we're going, oh, we've got him right where we want him, right? Josh Jacobs, and more Josh Jacobs is coming your way next.
If the Packers win a toss, will they take the ball this time?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because, again, you want that offense to be standing over on that sideline, even though it's not that cold for us and Green Bay and Lambeau Field tonight. They are going to get cold just standing on that sideline.
Yes,
they are, and that's what you want. You want to be able to kind of ice them out, and you go down, you score, whether it's a touchdown, whether it's a field goal. If you force a 3 and out and get that offense rolling, that's how you get a team like that to give up real early in a game.
Gabe Neitzel, Steve Scafidi, Alex Strofe hanging out with you. We are going to get to Rob Domofsky on the other side, but I have a quick confession for Gabe Neitzel. Gabe, do you have any idea where I'm headed?
No idea, no.
Can you see me right now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Do you recognize anything I'm wearing?
I'm recognizing a sweatshirt that is also in my closet. Did you steal my sweatshirt?
So I did not steal your sweatshirt. So last week, ahead of Packers Seahawks, you wore this Nike green hoodie with the retro Packers logo big in the middle. And I said to you, hey, I like that sweatshirt. So before we came up to Green Bay for the weekend, me and my girlfriend are both from the Green Bay area. She said, hey, I've got a gift I want you to open because I'm going to the game tonight. Lo and behold, it is the same sweatshirt you wore last week. And I said, hey, well, thanks, babe, but Gabe Neitzel owns this sweatshirt. And she goes, yeah. So I was watching Green Bay Game Day last week, and I said, shoot, Gabe owns that sweatshirt, but it's sitting under the Christmas tree right now. So, Gabe, my girlfriend's gift to me is that you and I can accidentally twin from this point forward.
Nice.
Your thoughts?
All right. I'm just going to have to be very careful about when I wear that sweatshirt going forward.
So you don't want to match with me?
I don't want to match with anyone. I don't want to match with any other grown man.
Well, the good news is for Gabe tonight is he is wearing a green and gold Christmas sweater that I imagine very few people on this planet own. So, yeah, I think you're okay. I think you're in the clear tonight.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, Kyle was also wearing his Packers sweater today. We looked good, I thought, during KBN when I stopped in. But yes, this was also a Christmas present a number of years ago from one of my sisters. And, I don't wear it often, but I break it out usually around, whenever the Packers play around Christmas. So
Did you wear that on Christmas Eve last year when they played the Panthers?
I did.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I did.
Makes sense. It's a good time to wear it.
A lot of fashion talk on the game day today.
Well, you look like Vince Lombardi.
I tried to make that happen. So,
and you're wearing an NFL pin, which I didn't even notice.
That was a gift from Ted Thompson, actually.
No kidding.
That's my good luck charm.
The late, great Ted Thompson.
Who was an awesome person.
He's been talked about quite a bit.
It's a great good luck charm.
Yeah.
That is a great good luck.
It is.
All right, Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, Steve Scafidi with you. We continue after this. We will be joined by ESPN NFL Nation reporter Rob Domofsky from inside of Lambeau Field. He gives us all the latest. Luke Musgrave activated from IR today. He will make his return to the Packers sideline and the field tonight, and we will continue to discuss Jair Alexander, what this game has at stake, and a whole lot more with Rob Domofsky. That's coming up next on Green Bay Game Day.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Ring in the holiday season with Carbless. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 guilt. Carbless is gluten-free, just 100 calories, and is sure to give you that head start on any New Year's health resolution. You can go with fruity lemon or black raspberry flavors or a margarita variety pack. I know the cranberry flavor will find its way to every gathering for me this year. Make your holiday grocery list and check it twice. Be sure Carbless is on it. Let's toast to a full, festive, flavorful sip this December with Carbless. Less is more.
For a truck that gets the job done, drive a 2024 Chevrolet Silverado EV work truck from Zimbrick Chevrolet. 393-mile range, over 12,000-pound towing capacity, 510 horsepower. Save $12,500 with 0% APR for 60 months to well-qualified buyers through GM Financial. Monthly payments equal $1,667 per $1,000 financed. Offer ends January 2nd. Zimbrick Chevrolet, East Madison, Sun Prairie, and ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
The little one just took her first steps. Her stride? Wobbly.
Oh my gosh, she's doing
Her
it.
parents? Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, watch out.
But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. So while you're monitoring and protecting her every move, you can do the same for your credit score too. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Are you having the holiday horrors trying to figure out the perfect gift for everyone on your list? So many people, so few ideas. It's terrifying. But guess what? I have the perfect gift you can give everyone. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. That's right, hands-free Skechers slip-ins. They're the perfect gift for a mother, for a father, grandma, grandpa, for the kids, for a friend, for a coworker, and for your boss who you're hoping gives you that big holiday bonus. For everybody. Because Skechers slip-ins don't cost a ton of money. They last a long time and people will appreciate them forever. Every time they slip your gift on, they will smile. And why are they smiling? Because with Skechers slip-ins, they'll never have to touch their shoes again. Just step into them and they're on, with no bending down, no retying the laces, and you are good to go. And they're so easy to give. No more wandering the store, no more scrolling online wondering what to get people. Give the newest thing, the most convenient change in footwear that's ever been. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Find Skechers slip-ins for the holidays at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Life's busy, and Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're grabbing fresh coffee, a bakery treat, or a quick meal, Quick Trip is your go-to for quality and fast service. From clean restrooms to fresh groceries, easy meal options, and guaranteed fuel, we make your day easier. Plus, enjoy perks like free ATMs, free air for your tires, and sweet rewards with the Quick Rewards program. Everything you need in one stop, and always a friendly, see you next time, Quick Trip, where your day gets easier and better.
When you or a loved one are faced with an unexpected injury or illness, Stoughton Health's Urgent Care is there for you. Stoughton Health has 4 convenient urgent care locations for the care you need without the wait. We have urgent care locations in Stoughton, Oregon, McFarland, and Cottage Grove with extended hours to fit your schedule. Stoughton Health accepts over 160 insurances, including Dean Health Plan, Quartz, Humana, and more. Please visit stoughtonhealth.com for more information. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strofe, Steve Scafidi, the mayor, Gabe Neitzel with you. At the Tundra Trio, just outside the south end zone of Lambeau Field. Chilly night. Snow has slowed down. Not too chilly. It's actually pretty good December conditions, all things considered.
No excuses.
Exactly. No excuses. For Monday Night Football, it's Packers Saints. That music means we are now joined by ESPN NFL Nation reporter Rob Demovsky. You read him, ESPN.com, see him on ESPN, and hear him across all of our shows on ESPN Wisconsin. Rob Demovsky, happy game day on a Monday, my friend.
How are you? Our first Monday of the year.
Our first and I think only, right? Is there a play?
Well,
there's
wild
card Monday.
Monday night wild card game, I believe.
Okay, well, let me say this then. First and hopefully only Monday conversation here with Rob Demovsky on Green Bay Game Day. Let's start with Luke Musgrave, who was activated from IR today. Obviously, that's a big get for the Packers as they go from 5 to 4 on the injured reserve list and get one of their stud young tight ends back into the mix. What do you anticipate his role will be tonight and going forward?
Well, for tonight, Alex, I think it'll be limited. But if you saw my tweet, then there's no suspense to this. But since those two guys were drafted here a year in April of 2023, the Packers have run just about 2,000 offensive plays. How many do you think that Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave were on the field together for? And we were told that those guys were going to be this dynamic duo, right?
Yeah, I admittedly didn't see the tweet. Gabe, did you? Do we all get to take a guess?
I did not see the tweet.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 120.
Gabe.
Because Kraft wasn't playing a ton. I'm going to go under that. I'm going to say 75.
It's 125. So, Alex, you were pretty close.
Nailed it.
Nice. That was even less than Adam Senovich thought when I asked him that same question. He thought maybe that 10, 12% of the plays, but it turns out it's about 6% of the plays.
Wow.
Since the start of the last season that they've had those guys on the field together. Not necessarily. I mean, they have played each more snaps, but not together as a two tight end set.
And that's something LaFleur likes to do. So I imagine as we gear up for the postseason, that's something we could see more of, Rob?
Yeah, they've been using a lot of two tight ends anyway. This year, 85 and 89 have been out there a bunch. So I think we could see more of that. And it just, gives them defenses another thing to try to figure out what they're going to do out of it.
With this game, and obviously the Saints aren't the most formidable opponents,
right.
Do you think they're going to try to get more touches for running backs other than Josh Jacobs?
That's a great question, Gabe. I do wonder about that. I mean, everybody's concerned with Josh Jacobs' workload, which is understandable. But first of all, if you can get a big lead, then maybe you do that. But if this game is, closer than we anticipate, then I don't see how they are able to do that. If you're them, you're probably hoping you can get up, 21 points early on and maybe call it a day in the middle of the third quarter. But that would be best case scenario.
I mean, he's on pace for 359 touches, Rob, which would be the most since Ahman Green had 405 in 2003.
Wow.
And the
great
2003 year was the 1,800-yard rush.
Correct.
Season, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that was, I remember that season, Favre would get annoyed when we asked him, hey, are you guys a running team now? And he would get all bent out of shape about that. But they were.
No, they were absolutely a running team.
Yeah,
hey, Rob,
This is what everyone's been, all the why isn't Aaron Jones getting more carries, that whole crowd should be happy, but yet some of them are, well, you're going to wear them out now.
Some people are never going to be happy, Rob.
Yeah, that's true.
I could give Kyle on KBN a $20 bill, and he'd complain it's not a 50.
That's true. It's absolutely true. As the producer of that show, I concur. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Rob. I don't follow the injury report like obviously Gabe and Alex do, but this team feels like it's really healthy at the right time. Is that a safe assessment?
Yeah, I mean it really is. There's the lingering issue with Jair Alexander, and
right.
We don't know what's going on with him, and I get the feeling he's going to play this week, but I mean I'm never with him going out on a limb and saying he's going to play. But other than that, and then obviously Quay Walker had the injury. I was in Seattle, right? It feels like forever ago. But he was in a walking boot when we saw him on Thursday. So, that's probably going to be a multiple week thing. And, who knows if they're going to get him back before, probably maybe a best case scenario is the regular season finale. But other than that, they're in pretty good shape. And, of course, Jordan Morgan, their first round pick who hadn't played a whole lot, is done for the season after shoulder surgery. But, yeah, I mean, they're look around the league, and I don't know that he could be any healthier than these guys are right now.
Rob Domofsky, ESPN NFL Nation reporter with us here on Green Bay Game Day, leading you up to kickoff. Packers-Saints, Monday Night Football. Sticking with the defense, Rob, Edgerrin Cooper, how impressive has he been? He wins his second NFC Defensive Player of the Week last week with his efforts against the Seattle Seahawks, and he does it playing 58% of the snaps. You mentioned Quay Walker likely, well, he's already been ruled out for tonight. Yeah. Will we see more Edgerrin Cooper, or do they trust Wilson McDuffie too much to really insert him more than maybe 50, 60% of the snaps?
I mean, I think it'll be a slight increase. I don't think it's going to be 80, 90%, though. And here's why. He's not ready to play what they call the Mike linebacker. Don't ask me to explain the difference between the three linebacker spots of this defense, or even the two. I don't know. But he's not going to be wearing the green dot, which means that's the guy with the helmet speaker that's getting the calls from Jeff Hafley and then relaying it to the rest of the guys. And you have to have a guy who's going to be on the field the entire game have that responsibility. And it sounds like it's going to be Eric Wilson. But yeah, the default answer is, well, he did that in 50-some% of the snaps. Let's play him 80% of the snaps. And I would say that maybe there's an argument for the fact that he was super productive because his plate wasn't overloaded and he could, kind of have a part of the game plan that he could excel at. And I think that's what you want to do with young players. Now, if he shows he can handle it, and remember early in the year, there were several times where we were asking about what went wrong on certain plays, and some of those were misalignments, calls for Edgerrin Cooper. So, I mean, it's not like, he's flawless. You just got to be careful with any young player at any position of not trying to throw too much at them just because they had some success, and in his case, a lot of success in a certain role.
So, Rob, when it comes to that defense, who's going to be wearing the green dot tonight?
I think it's Eric Wilson, from what I understand.
Why have they been hesitant to potentially put that on someone like Xavier McKinney and allow the linebackers to rotate more freely?
It's a great
question. It is. It really is. And I don't know if Xavier's ever done it before. Some teams do use the safety to do it, but it seems like the linebacker is the more logical, or the more common choice. I should say logical, because I don't know that it is. But it's a great question. It's one that I have not had a chance to ask Xavier if he's ever done that or if he wants to do that. But I do agree with you. It's an interesting question.
Hey, Rob, one of the things that we hear all the time is the Packers are the youngest team in the NFL. And one of the things I also hear is in seasons like this, long, grinding seasons, injuries play a role. Often these younger players are not used to the longer seasons, and we're going to go to the playoffs with this team this year. Has that been talked about at all? Has Matt LaFleur talked about keeping these guys fresh? Maybe that's part of the rotation that you guys are alluding to with Edgerrin Cooper. Is that part of the story?
I mean, it hasn't really come up at all, which, I think that, sometimes comes up when you got a lot of injuries, and like you said earlier, they're so healthy that it really hasn't. And I mean, the college football game is certainly not as long as the NFL game is in terms of the season, but it sure is a lot longer than it used to be, right? There's, these guys who are fresh out of college some of them probably played 13 or 14 games last year, right? So it's not like it's the old college season where you were done at Thanksgiving unless you were in a bowl game.
Good point. Rob Domofsky, ESPN NFL Nation reporter, hanging out with us for a few more minutes here on Green Bay Game Day. The Toyota endorsement has been locked in by Jordan Love here during Toyotathon. But it seems like I ask you this every week, Rob. It's honestly so impressive what he's been able to do now 2 years in a row, mid-November to the end of the season. Seems like he, and Matt LaFleur said it earlier this week, he's playing the best ball he's seen. Do you agree with the assessment from the head coach earlier in the week?
I'm not even sure Jordan Love agrees with that assessment, because when we asked him about that on Thursday, he said, well, I think it's similar to that stretch that he had at the end of last year. So, even he wasn't quite, ready to go as far as LaFleur was. I mean, I do think there are some things that he's doing, much better the last 4 weeks, obviously not turning the ball over. He has handled the blitz much better. His accuracy has gone way up when teams have blitzed of late. And they put up, 30 points in the last 4 games, at least 30 in the last 4 in a row. I think I saw that that's the second longest streak of 30-plus games in Packers history. So, Like that. I mean, it's not. And even last week, I'm sure you guys have talked about how they had that stretch in the second half where they weren't, moving the ball, they weren't scoring, they weren't getting first downs, they weren't keeping the ball for very long. But you look up at the end of the day, and there's still a 3 in front of the starting. The number of the points scored starts with a 3, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Gabe, take that, bud.
Well, I mean, I just and Rob, I know I'm the one who brought that up when you joined us on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy last week. The way that they struggled in that second half. I just want to see today, and I don't think it's too much to ask for. Dominate the way they did in the first half, but if you come out strong in the start of the second half, you can rest some guys. I think over the last quarter and a half, because the Saints are. I mean, they're not going to score any points tonight. I think that's a fact of the matter because that team is so just beat up, and they're practicing in freezers. I don't know if you've ever heard of a team practicing in a freezer before. But that's what I want to see tonight. Is that unrealistic to think that this team could put this game away by midway through the third quarter?
Well, and I think that's what you'd like to see, Gabe, because here's the thing. When you get to the playoffs, and maybe not in the first round if you're playing – one of the weaker teams from the AFC South. But at some point in the playoffs, if you have a lull like you did in that second half against Seattle, a good team will make you pay for it, right? And that hasn't really happened or didn't happen last week. But a Philadelphia, a Minnesota, a Detroit, those teams will bury you if you do that. So I do think that if they can show that would answer a few questions.
Hey, Rob, you covered a ton of games in cold weather. This seems like a cold weather light game. It's not that windy, at least doesn't seem so.
No, it's not bad.
Any problems tonight for the Packers or the Saints, who I agree with Gabe, I don't think they're going to score much.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, this isn't that bad of a weather situation. I do think the cold weather thing is a little interesting. The Saints have actually, according to our ESPN stat sheet that they send us every week, the Saints have actually won their last 3 cold weather games.
Interesting.
Jordan Love also is undefeated in sub-freezing games. Now it's only 2 of them. He is 2-0 in 32 or less degrees.
Rob Demovsky wrapping up with him, ESPN NFL Nation reporter. Get him at ESPN.com, on Twitter at Rob Demovsky. Rob, the last question I always ask you, how do you see this one playing out? Packers 14.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I believe it's only the 3rd time this season in the entire league that a team has been favored by that much, which is remarkable.
Wow.
And I mean, I got to think that they handle that, and they cover that, and they win this one by, 17 or more points.
Does that say more about the Packers or the Saints? That line?
I mean, I don't know. I think teams are buying.
Both.
People are buying the Packers, but yeah, I mean, there's something to the Saints too. I mean, this is 2 teams going in different directions.
Rob, we appreciate the time as always, brother. Merry Christmas, and we'll be talking to you Sunday ahead of Packers-Vikings, all right?
All right, sounds good. You too, guys. Take care.
The great Rob Demovsky, ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Packers. Go ahead, Gabe.
My research could be wrong, but I think I finally have an answer. The last time the Packers were favored by 2 touchdowns or more, 2012, when they welcomed the Jacksonville Jaguars to Lambeau Field on October 28th.
Woo,
they were 16-point favorites in that game.
A member of that 2012 team will join us coming up next as Super Bowl champion Jarrett Bush has arrived at the Tundra Trio. He will join us. We will say goodbye to Steve Scafidi, and we will have our first of many airing of grievances on this Festivus holiday. First from Steve Scafidi. That's coming up next. It's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law Offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law Offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law Offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law Offices.
Gift giving is easy with an Island Resort and Casino gift card. Every person on your list can spend their time just the way they like it. dining, going to a concert, relaxing at the Drift Spa, playing golf. No matter the reason, gift cards to the Midwest's premier resort destination are a sure bet. To order gift cards, stop by the Island Club today or call 877-ISL-SHOW. Then spread some joy, because everyone knows your total experience is at the Island.
Make this December one to remember at Metro Ford of Madison. The 2024 Ford F-150 is available with 1.9% APR financing for 66 months, $16.26 per thousand borrowed. Or check out the 2024 Ford Mach-E at 0% APR financing for 75 months, $13.33 per thousand. These holiday specials won't last forever, so head to Metro Ford of Madison today.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
They say punters are people too, especially on KBN.
Power rank the three of us. Who would you protect most the least?
No, you gotta do it.
We are matched up against clones of ourselves.
Yeah. Obviously, stroke person is pretty weak, so all the blows ain't gonna be too hard.
3, I'll go with Kyle.
Dang it! Why you gonna let me get beat up? Gonna let me get beat up right now? I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 to 4 on ESPN Madison.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Greetings, Gold fans. It is game day. Kick off your tailgate with Bacardi. Whether it's a Bacardi and Cola, lime and soda, or spiced in cola, Bacardi, your game day go-to. Grab a bottle at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi, USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume. It is Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Stroh, Steve Scafidi, Gabe Neitzel with you up in Green Bay, just outside the south end zone of Lambeau Field, and joining us for the remainder of the show. He is a Super Bowl champion. He is a Packers legend. He is the man who tackled Randall Cobb after his Saints kickoff return.
I just watched that this week.
Week 1,
awesome.
2011. You were the only person to tackle Randall Cobb in that game.
Rightfully so, though. Rightfully so.
In a celebratory fashion. It is Jarrett Bush joining us on Green Bay Game Day. JB, a game like this, weird feel, right? Winning you're in for the Packers, but they are huge favorites. Gabe discovered biggest favorite they've been since you played the Jags in 2012. 14.5-point favorites are the New Orleans Saints. So, not a trap game necessarily, but one where a lot is expected of the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Hey, Saints are 5-9. You know, we have full control of our destiny, as controlling the destiny as we can. We haven't clinched a playoff berth yet, so that is something that has to be in your midst as well as like your crosshairs. And so I'm looking forward to it. Hey, you got to put together a great game today. I think you have a lot to play for. I think there's a tremendous platform for you to step onto. The fans are gonna be ranting and raving. Hey, let's go. It's gonna be a great game. The Saints have a lot of bad things working for them. The quarterback, the broken hand, Derek Carr. Sure, I get it. The Raising Cajun, I get it. Their fan base is pretty good. At the same time, you got to put them in their place. Understand what they are. They're a 5-9 team. They're struggling. All right. As the Packers, we're trying to climb that ladder, climb that rope to try to better our record and control our destiny to be in the best position possible. Are they in the sixth position where we won it in 2011? Sure. But at the same time, they still got to continue to better that situation. And hopefully tonight is one of those moments.
I sure hope so, and I think it will be. Packers, as I mentioned, 14.5-point favorites, win, and they clinch a spot in the postseason. All right, Steve Scafidi, need two things from you before we let you
All right.
Number one, today is known as Festivus, which is the airing of grievances day, according at least to Seinfeld back in the 90s. So I'm going to give you the floor as you are leaving us. You're departing us at the end of this segment. We will do our Gruber Law Office's one grievance, that's all, in the 6 o'clock hour. But I want to give you the floor. What's on your mind? What grievance do you need to get off your chest?
You asked me this question before we went on the air, and I had to think about it because I could do a political one, but there's so many grievances I could go through. I don't want to waste the audience's time.
Sure.
But this bothers me about the NFL. I cannot stand where a team throws a bomb down the field 60 yards, the defender touches their arm or touches their chest, and it's essentially a 60-yard penalty. We got to get rid of that. 15-yard max. I think that's the college. Is the college rule?
That is
15?
the college rule.
I would love to see the NFL, and I understand they're going to talk about it this offseason. Yep. I would love to see that happen.
Well, let's go to the defensive back. JB.
Yeah. What do you think? Yes.
You know what? Yeah, I agree with you.
Nice.
I agree with you.
One's on board.
I feel better.
Now, I think it's always discretionary. I think they should really dial in what that pass interference really is. Now, the terminology that we've had with many conversations we've had in that meeting behind closed doors is the word is impede. Impede meaning stop the person in the process of moving forward or in process of trying to catch the ball.
Spin them around.
Right.
Yeah.
However, I felt like I was watching TV, football last night. The person, they latched on to the back end of the arm. Is that technically impeding? Well, again, I just like the question, can we dial that in a little bit and be a little bit more specific of what pass interference is?
How much would the game change if they made it a 15-yard penalty? I don't think it would change that much.
I don't either. Gabe, I'm curious your thoughts on Steve's airing of grievance on this Festivus.
I'm curious just because in the college level you can do it, but in the NFL level, like, guys are so good and they know when they're beat. I wonder how often they would just latch on past 20 yards. It's not an issue in the college games because a lot of times the skill level of a guy who's going to be in the NFL versus a guy who's going to be an accountant, just a few months apart. Like, there's a pretty big, at times there can be a pretty big talent discrepancy there. But with the NFL, with that being so close, I wonder how much guys would just go, I'm beat. I'm gonna take this penalty so I don't give up a 50-yard completion, and instead it's only 15 yards.
I would agree with you, but I think that already happens now. If a guy's getting his, beat, he grabs, and that guy's not going anywhere, that's a penalty, and it's often 15 yards. I don't know what the average pass interference penalty is. It's probably not more than 15 or 20 yards. Am I wrong?
It's probably right around.
Yeah.
I would
so
guess.
I don't know that that would have a big impact.
Well, JB, I guess you're the only person in here that was good enough to play in the NFL, despite me and Gabe believing we are still premier athletes.
I mean, you can believe that about yourself, man. I know I'm getting closer to 40. I've got a much better self-awareness.
You're running more half marathons than I ever have at nearing 40. So props to you regardless. JB, I don't know if you were ever beat and you purposefully PI'd, right? Like, I don't know. Bring me into the mind frame of that.
I mean, that's the going unwritten rule as a defensive back. If there's a time where it's a crucial moment in the game and the game is on the line, you grab them, throw them down to the ground.
You make it obvious.
Yeah, make it obvious because you want to live to fight another day.
Yeah.
Have the offense reload, have the defense catch their breath, hey, no harm, no foul. Sure, they got their 50, especially if you're not in the red zone. If you're like on their territory as 45 or the 35 and they're still trying to drive, of course, drag them down. And there's 2 minutes left in the game, 100% drag his butt down and reload, So the most thing that you can't do is allow a 95-yard reception because, you had a little, you tripped at the line of scrimmage or, he got 2 steps on you. Drag his butt down, line up, play again.
Love it.
We all agree.
We all agree.
Yeah.
It sounds like
it.
Sort of. Gabe, maybe not. But
what
I think
was the other thing you were going to ask me?
What's your game pick? I don't think you're going to go revolutionary and pick the Saints. Packers 14.5-point favorites.
Yeah, 35-10.
So it's a blowout.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you leaving by? Let's say it is 28-10 mid-third quarter. Are you considering beating the traffic?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be here for the Bears game, so I got more football to watch. There you go. Yeah.
I like that that's the mindset. Yeah. Steve Scafidi, the host of the Political Power Hour, 620 WTMJ. Always appreciate talking a little Packers with you, buddy. Thanks for the time.
I love hanging out with you guys. Always appreciate it.
We've got a few games left. With a win tonight, we even have an extra one added to the schedule, a postseason game if the Packers get a win over the New Orleans Saints tonight. Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, Super Bowl champ, Jarrett Bush. Roll on with you. Coming up next, it's Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Nagging pain lasting for months, difficulty performing everyday tasks, not moving like you'd like, it's time to see the doctor. And I recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Anytime I've needed care, the appointments are timely, no waiting weeks to be seen, and no pressure to have surgery. It's about getting the right diagnosis and choosing a treatment plan that fits your life. No question where I turn if I'm injured again. The experts in care at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's orthowisconsin.com.
Unwrap exceptional offers during the Season of Audi sales event. Get financing as low as 1.9% APR on select new 2024 Audi models. Save $7,500 on select Audi EVs with the AFS EV lease bonus and an additional $1,500 with the Season of Audi customer credit. Offer subject to credit approval through Audi Financial Services. See dealer for details. Offer ends January 2nd. You'll find an excellent selection of new and certified pre-owned Audis at Audi Madison. Check out AudiMadison.com or stop in and test drive at Audi Madison today. Off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
Indulge in the ultimate chocolate experience this holiday season with Gail Ambrosius Chocolatier. Your significant other will love the handcrafted selection created right here in Madison. Stop by their store on Atwood and treat your taste buds today. Once you taste the difference that locally owned and made chocolate provides, you'll never go back to the mass-produced box of chocolate again. Share the joy with a box of chocolate from Gail Ambrosius Chocolatier on Atwood.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Simple. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. And again, you can win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Which program is more dysfunctional, the Wisconsin Badgers or the Chicago Bears? I'm just relating it back to this weekend. I'm just relating it back.
I'm a fan of both.
Jim's two favorite teams. It's Jim's fault. Like, these teams are the reason they are the way they are because of Jim.
Jim is a football curse. Yeah, maybe.
Jim, Matt, and Molly. Presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's Kelly Sheffield, Wisconsin Badgers volleyball head coach. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station.
It's time to get this tailgate started and get you ready for the green and gold game. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Broadcasting live from the shadow of the South End Zone at Lambeau Field. Alongside Gabe Neitzel and Super Bowl champion Jared Bush, here's Alex Strofe.
Away we go, Hour 2, Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Typically the Jason Wilde Hour. He got stuck in traffic because it was snowing out, so the Jason Wilde Hour on a slight delay. But you still have the privilege of hanging out with me, Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, and the Super Bowl champion, Jarrett Bush. Gabe, how you holding up in your warm studio?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Down in Milwaukee?
I noticed I'm watching on the stream, and again, anybody who's not, you can always check us out, youtube.com/ESPN Milwaukee, and check out the stream. What did you do with your winter hat? You ditched the winter hat, now the hood is up as you're trying to stay warm. What's going on?
Yeah,
What's the thought process here?
So frankly, the winter hat I have in my pocket, it is right here in my front jacket pocket. It just doesn't fit very well. I kind of have a big melon. I don't know if you knew that about me. It's because of all the big brain power that goes on up there. Thank you for not disagreeing. Appreciate that. So yeah, it just didn't fit super well. It was kind of hurting my head, so I went back to the hood. You know, the nice thing about doing radio is these headsets we wear. They actually keep the ears pretty toasty. So my ears, which are very big for those of you at home that don't know that, I have large ears. They are staying toasty in our headset here. So no complaints. But yeah, I'm working through it. I got the hand warmers in the gloves already. I'm going to be outside for like 7 hours straight. So I'm just doing what I can to make it work, Gabe. So hope you're enjoying the toasty studio.
Yeah, it is very comfortable. Jarrett, what were some of the weird things you would hear that opposing teams would do to try to get ready for the cold weather at Lambeau Field?
Yeah, did you see the story out of New Orleans? They were running quarterback drills in their walk-in freezer in the cafeteria.
I was like, okay, valiant effort, good effort, people. But at the same time, you cannot simulate catching a ball at 20, 30 degrees, okay, when it's coming from an arm slinger, all right, from the defense standpoint or from the quarterback to the receiver, all right, and especially like when a snowflake is snowing and catching that punt. If it is snowing, you can't simulate that in the refrigerator. I'm sorry, people. All right? But at the same time, especially running backs, holding on to the ball. Are you doing that? Are you just wrestling, playing, wrestle football in the refrigerator too? Because that's a whole another element too. So what am I missing here? I get it. It's great effort. Understanding, like, okay, the brain capacity to be able to function, okay, I get that. But what about the other 10 other players that are on the football field that have to handle the football with freezing cold fingertips? I don't know. What am I missing here?
It is one of the odder stories I remember reading in terms of preparing for the cold weather. Let's bring in the wealth of knowledge, the fountain of knowledge that is the three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, the co-host of Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. The great Jason Wilde has arrived. You got out of the traffic from the light snowfall we had in Green Bay?
Yeah, it was a struggle. I left my house at 4:18, which usually
is
more than enough time.
An hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a bit of a struggle. I had some fans asking why we weren't doing Monday night kickoff or countdown in our yard. I said, well, we've got something even better. We've got Green Bay Game Day.
Well done.
With Jared Bush. It pains me to start this way, especially since I got here a couple minutes late, but I love the fact that the quarterback's coach did that.
Why do you love it?
Because it just starts getting your brain thinking about what the conditions will be on Monday night.
No.
Now, these guys are not – you have to forget the fact that you grew up in the beautiful Green Bay, Denmark Metroplex and that JB worked and played and lives here now. He came from California.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a sprinter. He was like Mr. California.
Yeah.
Now you're a convert, and we're happy to have you.
Sure.
But for guys like Spencer Rattler and the guys that are living in New Orleans,
Yeah, I don't buy it.
it's not going to win them the game tonight. If anyone's trying to argue that, then they're full of crap.
Okay,
But if it starts to get them thinking, all right, I got to be able to handle this. I love the fact that the line from the quarterback's coach was, the guys loved it. The cafeteria staff thought I was an idiot. Because it's a tiny little thing that gets them a little more mentally ready for what they're going to have to deal with. That's all. No one's saying it's a game changer.
You know who else thinks he's an idiot?
You,
Me.
clearly.
You know what that screams to me? We fired our head coach and we lack direction. We're out of ideas.
No, it's the opposite.
Let's go use the walking.
Help him.
This
help,
is idiotic.
Help him understand this. If you get to toward the end of a season, right?
Yeah.
And especially a season where maybe things aren't going the way you had hoped,
Yeah.
right? Little change-ups actually do a little bit of good with your players to get them. It's just something different to change up the monotony. And if you're 5-9 and you're not 10-4 headed to the playoffs, it's one of those things that, hey, breaks up the monotony of going to work every day. Look, JB is lucky. He was here for so long that very rarely did he have to suffer through those seasons. 05 was before you got here, right? You got here in 06.
Yes.
I mean, ask Tausch what 05 was like at 4-12. Sure. He would have been happy to be going into the freezer, given how crappy things were going.
From my understanding, that was the best 4-12 team in NFL history, though.
I've heard that. Yes, Gabe. Yes, indeed, I've heard that as well. And I usually hear it from Tausch, who was on it.
Yes.
The greatest 4-12 team in history.
Yeah.
You're being a little bit of a party pooper,
I hear where
think.
you're coming from.
That's usually my role on this show.
That's 100% accurate. Good to see you, by the way.
Yeah.
But I hear where you're coming from. I like the way you're angling it. I just can't get behind it.
You're teetering.
I'm teetering.
I can see that you're teetering.
I mean, the way you explained it is the best version I've heard
and look,
of it.
it's got to be in perspective, right? I mean, that's the problem with our sports commentary world. Like, no one is sitting here going, oh, my God, this guy is the smartest quarterbacks coach in history. This is going to be the difference between them winning and losing. They're a 14.5-point dog.
Yeah.
Like, he needed to do a lot more than take them into the walk-in freezer.
Well, the case you are making is, hey, it was something fun and unique they got to do at work that week, and it'll make them start thinking about it.
Right, and look, Spencer Rattler's making his 4th NFL start. He's a rookie 5th-round pick.
Yep.
It's not like this isn't Drew Brees that he took into the cooler. Now, if Spencer Rattler had gone in and then come out as Drew Brees, now we're on to something.
Yeah, that'd
it's
been
like
the
a portal to Narnia.
Yeah.
Right, and then they sawed Rattler in half, like a magician. It's a whole thing. No one's saying that.
All right, you've lost me now.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Sawing in half.
Yeah,
a bridge too far.
magician joke. Okay.
Well, Jason, you did mention. Oh, Jason, you mentioned the point spread and how they're 14.5-point favorites. I don't feel like this is a trap game, though. Even though a big game against Minnesota, would you agree with that? That LaFleur is still going to have the team focused heading into tonight's game?
Well, he's got the media focused. I don't know if he's got his team focused, but if he did as good of a job with them as he did with us, then I think he's going to be successful because, he didn't convince me. I'm looking past this game. I'm already thinking about the Mall of America and the Twin Cities next week.
Oh, you're bringing the family?
Yeah, they're gonna come along.
Oh, thus
Not
the
to
Mall
the
of
game.
America.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I thought maybe you were just hanging out there or something. I don't
stand around nervously as they're on roller coasters, worrying about them. But
That's a great
to
place.
the point about tonight and the point spread, Matt LaFleur and Gabe, you heard this. Like, he bent over backwards and twisted himself into a pretzel trying to convince anybody who would listen that this is not we're going to kick the daylights out of these guys. They're going to be completely overmatched. And we've talked about this before. When head coaches talk, Mike McCarthy used to say this too, they're not just talking to me and Domofsky and Bill Huber. They're talking to the locker room too. And so because this whole thing started with a relatively innocuous question, which isn't always the case for me. Matt LaFleur was talking on Friday after practice about how locked in the guys were and how they weren't bothered by the cold. We had a great practice. It was crisp. We were outside, so it was a little bit cold, but we really had a great practice. And I followed up his statement by saying, Matt, is that a good sign for your team? Because obviously, you're playing a team that's struggled. It's had a tough go. You want your guys to be focused. And he looked at me like I had said something about his mom. Like he was irritated. And I'm like, he said, well, I wouldn't consider that this game. And he said, you really think the guys think that? And I said, all I'm saying is, Matt, in the time that I've covered this team, occasionally there have been games against bad teams where guys took them lightly and it ended up either being closer or they lost. I mean, I didn't get into this with him, but I was in Indianapolis in 1997 when the reigning Super Bowl champs went to the Hoosier Dome and got beat by an 0-10 Lindy Infante coached Tony Mandarich at right tackle Indianapolis Colts team. And Chewy will tell you that they did not take that game seriously and they lost 41-38.
First thing Chewy will tell you about that game is that he got his guy. Offense scored 38 points.
So, Gabe, to your point, if he effectively convinced these guys, hey, these guys, they've lost 4 games by 3 points or less. They could easily be 9-5 instead of 5-9. Mm-hmm. If that worked with the guys, that's all that matters. It didn't work with me. I'm not convinced. This is not a very good football team. It's not going to have Derek Carr, not going to have Alvin Kamara, not going to have Chris Olave, may not have MVS, who, by the way, is currently their best wide receiver, who they picked up halfway through the season. So this is not a good football team. They're going to start a rookie 5th-round pick. So if he convinced his guys that they need to be on top of their game, then they're going to walk out of here with a 42-10 win.
I must say, I understand it's Festivus. You really sounded like Seinfeld right there. Halfway through the season.
I'm using up my voice now because I'm going to be out of it in about 10 minutes.
Okay, that's great. Well, we'll do this. We'll let you take a rest. We'll let you get a tea. We'll let you get recharged.
Tea and honey. Pumped up. I love the energy.
And honey. I love the energy, too.
Yeah.
Willie's fired up for Monday Night Football as the Packers 14.
I was in the freezer before I got here.
It got you nice and motivated. Gabe Neitzel's back at the Grubber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Studio. Go ahead, Gabe.
I just wanted to get this out there because Tom Pelissero tweeted it out. I know it's a little ahead of when we're going to do inactives, but he said that Jair is going to be inactive tonight. He's played just 10 snaps since October with what the team called the knee injury, listed as a full participant this week, but he is not himself. They'll reevaluate next week.
We will react to that news from Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network. Jair Alexander once again out tonight against the New Orleans Saints. We will get into that coming up next. Alex Strofe, Jason Wilde, Gabe Neitzel, Super Bowl champ Jarrett Bush hanging out with you. It is Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Gift giving is easy with an Island Resort and Casino gift card. Every person on your list can spend their time just the way they like it. Dining, going to a concert, relaxing at the Drift Spa, playing golf. No matter the reason, gift cards to the Midwest's premier resort destination are a sure bet. To order gift cards, stop by the Island Club today or call 877-ISL-SHOW. Then spread some joy because everyone knows your total experience is at the Island.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. Equinox EV and the all-new Equinox offer award-winning quality and style to see you through the holiday season. See why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Jim, Matt, and Molly every Thursday to find out where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes and High Life Lights. To celebrate our love for dive bars, we are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one extra special dive bar that will have $2 High Lifes on special for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin like Jerry's Place, the Nitty Gritty in Sun Prairie, Whatever Bar, and Sportsman Bar and Grill.
It's almost go time, Christmas shoppers. So if you're feeling the crunch, check out Fleet Farm for hot last-minute deals. Keep your feast tasty with a Nesco 18-quart roaster, now just $59.99. Keep your loved ones toasty with Milwaukee heated apparel and get a free battery pack with purchase. Speaking of cozy, get a portable buddy heater with fuel filter for only $69.99. Wrap up your holiday shopping now at Fleet Farm, home of the best prices guaranteed.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Your District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris are joined by Bucks broadcast legend Jim Paschke. Find Your District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin with you. 620 WTMJ, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, and for the first time ever, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, Dodge County along for the ride here on Green Bay Game Day, which is brought to you in part by our friends at Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's is America's favorite vodka for a reason, distilled 6 times till it is just right. Tito's is known for great vodka, giving back, and doing good for dogs. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly. I'm Alex Strofe, Gabe Neitzel, back at the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. And with me here in Green Bay is the Super Bowl champion, Jared Bush, and the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde, each with us for a few more segments. We just got the news from Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network and formerly of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. No Jair Alexander again tonight against the New Orleans Saints, who has played just 10 snaps since the bye week. Jason, I will start with you on this. I don't know that this is shocking because it is kind of handled with care with Jair. It's never really a bona fide gimme type decision that we know whether or not he's going to play, but ruled out before the inactives even come out tonight. Packers, again, will be without their top corner.
Yeah, great. I think it's great. I mean,
I think you're being serious.
No, I am. I want him to be able to play against Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's too much risk and another week will get him that much closer to 100%, sit him against these guys, right? Now, there's an argument to be made, and I will defer to JB on this, but when you're coming back from an injury, is there an advantage to getting, working out the kinks, if you will, against a lesser opponent, so you have some game reps back underneath your belt when you're going to go up against the big boys next week in Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson? I would argue that the guy's played enough. He doesn't necessarily need to knock the rust off against the Saints. I want him to be full go and help my team go beat a team that is standing in my way in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think Jair, he's battle tested. I think he's I think he's able to do that. I think he's a pro's pro. I think he's able to line up. He definitely has the confidence, which I love, which I can definitely relate to when you're on our island to go up against Justin Jefferson.
You better have that confidence.
Right? And so, absolutely, I think that he can go out there as long as his wheel is good enough to get out there and run stride for stride with them, for sure, 100%. Will he catch the ball? For sure. He's Justin Jefferson. At the same time, if it's not good, that's not good for the Packers. So I definitely agree with you that great. He's sitting, rest him, make sure that he's ready for the playoffs.
Gabe Knights, I want to get your reaction on this before I pose a question for the group.
Yeah, I agree with Jason. I wasn't – we know Jair has to feel like himself in order to play, right? That's basically what he said around the Bears game. So there's no point – who do you need him to defend tonight? You shouldn't need anyone because, as we've pointed out, a lot
maybe MVS.
But even then, I'd rather have somebody else, take a crack there. You don't need him tonight. That Minnesota game is more important, and you want him to be healthy for that game, the game after, and then into the postseason. So him returning too early is not a good thing. I'm okay with him not playing tonight. Again, whether or not he returns next season and how we feel about him overall is a larger conversation that we can have after the season is over. But I mean, as long as he's on the team, I want him available for the biggest games, and that's starting next week, not tonight.
And you can argue that's when he's at his best, right?
Yes.
That's when he really, last year with all the issues he had, he made sure he played against Devontae Adams, if I recall, right?
Recall correctly.
And he wants to get those matchups, and I assume that will be something that he will be extremely motivated by next week. And don't forget, too, guy had an interception in the Cowboys playoff game, too. I mean, if he rises to the occasion in the most important games, you're not getting a return on your investment necessarily, but you're getting the best of them when you need it most.
So that gets to the question I was going to ask, Jason, is in my heart of hearts, I'm fine with him missing tonight. But I need to see him play at least 2 regular season games, and I guess at the very least 1, because A, it serves as an opportunity to knock off any rust he would potentially have. But then B, it also kind of gets him up ahead of the postseason when they need him at his best. So. Yeah. As long as he plays at some point in the remainder of the regular season, I'm good with this.
Yeah, I don't know if Netflix is interested in a 3-part docuseries on him, but it could be Enigma 2, right? Because he's a hard guy to he and I have a great working relationship, as I joked about during the week. Complimented me on the hoodie I was wearing earlier in the week. Talked to him last week briefly on the record about how he was feeling. That was a 30-second interview, which usually with the length of my questions is
longer
means
than
there
30
is no
seconds.
answer.
Yeah.
But I got 3 questions in back and forth in those 30 seconds. But again, he's not a guy that, I feel like when I was covering JB, I could have told his life story, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of guys that I covered. I don't know Jair that well. We have a good working relationship, but I don't understand what makes him tick. And when you look at dating back to that Pittsburgh game during the 21 season when he injures his shoulder tackling Najee Harris to now, he has missed more games than he's played. And as good as he is, and there's no denying that he's a fantastic cover guy when healthy, that's a lot of time to miss. And if he's, again, available for the most important games here, they have lived without him this long. They can live without him another week.
Sure. Hold on. You go ahead, Gabe.
True or false, Jason? Because I know we're on the same page in terms of where we think the Packers are in terms of their Super Bowl aspirations. But I don't think they can go on any sort of sustained playoff run and make an NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl without Jair Alexander.
No.
True. Or agree. Circle
yes.
the square. I'm
yes.
not sure what I was supposed to do there, but yes, you're exactly right, Gabe. And look, you and I are both in the same group too in terms of we both have said we think they're a year away, right? Mm-hmm. And whether or not, if they have him, he's one of the guys that can make a year away become this year like the 2010 team, for example, that JB was on. Mm-hmm. But I look, when you get to the playoffs and you're dealing with Philly and you're dealing with Minnesota and you're dealing with Detroit, and frankly, you're dealing with the L.A. Rams, right? Yep. You got to beat the L.A. Rams without Puka Nacua and without Cooper Kupp. Mm-hmm. As much as they, were excited to name Carrington Valentine as the G of the week, I don't necessarily think you want to go into playoff games with only Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, and Eric Stokes as your top 3 corners, and then having to play, whether or not it's Corey Ballantyne, Robert Rochelle, the farther you go down the depth chart, the more of a matchup problem it's going to be. And we saw in the Detroit game, and I don't want to pick on Eric Stokes because he's a good kid who has tried really hard and had a bunch of injury issues. But when he's on the field, teams pick on him, and that is not something you want to have happening in the playoffs.
Could you say the word liability?
Again, if they have to play him, maybe he elevates his game in the playoffs. The statistic that Bill Huber unearthed, that now we're over 1,000 snaps of him not having a pass breakup or an interception. I mean,
tonight's the night. Tonight's the night.
I was just going to say yes
Tonight or no. Is your night, bro. Yeah.
Tonight's the night for Stokes. Little Rattler, PBU. Come on.
Pick 6.
I mean, that would really
that'd be a hell of a way to end the streak.
Yeah, that would derail the narrative fast.
Yeah.
We will see on that. All in all, so I'm actually really intrigued by something you said, and we're going to get a little bit nerdy.
You sound surprised.
No, but it was essentially, look, I don't compliment you that often. You're very good at your job. You're a very well-respected journalist. You're an amazing storyteller. So the fact that you say that Jair has been a tough nut to crack for you, that fascinates me because it seems like that's usually not the case with guys you interact with in the locker room. Do you think it is he doesn't want a story out there? He doesn't want to open up too much? What do you think the reasoning is?
I mean, I think earlier in his career he was, and I just think he's become increasingly guarded, and he's a different cat, man. Like he's non-traditional, I would say, right? And he doesn't. We haven't turned him into the league for the many times he doesn't talk, which we can certainly do, and he can certainly get fined, like Jimmy Graham and Devondre Campbell. But he talked to Matt Schneidman from The Athletic a few weeks ago and revealed the PCL tear. Talked to me 2 weeks ago, so he, I guess, kind of covered his bases there. But yeah, not everybody feels comfortable talking to the media, right? I mean, and I would argue that I'm probably one of the top guys that people can feel like they can talk to, and I'm not going to burn them. But for whatever reason, and look, he and I have a little different relationship. Like last year, for Sydney's basketball team, I make a T-shirt every year because they don't get to keep their jerseys. Okay? So, and I always put some sort of quote on the back of the T-shirt. So one year was Steve Prefontaine, and last year, I don't know how we ended up talking about her basketball team. And I said, hey, do you have a good quote for me after we got done talking? And he's like, everything you need is within you. So I put it on the back of the shirt. I had an extra shirt made. He wears it in the locker room from time to time. Says Jaguars basketball on the front, and everything you need is within you, Jair Alexander, on the back.
I love that quote, though. That's a great quote.
It is a great quote. Isn't it a great quote?
It is a great quote.
I mean, and so, again, last week he's like, hey, I got to make sure I get to a practice to talk to the girls. So it's not, I don't want to paint him as some sort of villain, but I also don't understand him. Like, under what circumstances do you feel like you can play? And we play this is a macho league where if you don't play through injury, there are people that are going to think you're, I mean, think about Devondre Campbell last year announcing on social media, I'm not playing through injury anymore. Like, remember when he did that?
Yes.
I ain't talking about nothing on no internet then, after he wrote that, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But so I don't, it's more complicated with him. I wasn't kidding when I said that he'd be great for Enigma 2, because I would love to learn more about him.
He's a misunderstood Enigma.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
I would actually watch Enigma 2 versus Enigma 1, though.
Only if he wears the T-shirt.
Did you watch Enigma 1, Gabe?
No.
Okay, so that makes two of you on this panel. JB, did you watch Enigma?
I did not. No.
Okay, so I'm the only one on the panel that has watched that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. No. Continue on Jair.
No, I think he is an interesting fella. I think another interesting fella, the name is Marshawn Lynch. I'm about that action, boss. Mm-hmm. He did not like the media. I think there is a certain personality that can embrace that's a little bit more charismatic to give that, that personality, or as well as just give more information or maybe embrace it a little bit better.
Right. And to your point, just because Marshawn Lynch didn't like talking to us doesn't mean he's not an engaging guy or fun to be or a great team. I don't know what he was like as a teammate, but just because you don't like to talk to us doesn't make you a bad guy.
No, not at all. And I think to understand him a little bit better, I think he loves to compete. And I think only he knows if his body is able to go out there and compete at a high level. And I think that, we do have egos. It is a macho sport. And we feel that our will or something about our bodies somewhere internally doesn't give us the capacity to go out there and play full tilt for our brothers, for the beloved Packer fans, and for the coaches that put us out there that trust us, I don't think we should allow ourselves to go out there.
Right.
As well as the doctors, right, to actually protect us from ourselves, knowing that some guys will go out there and kamikaze it, which myself I would do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know a guy that fits that description.
So I think definitely, right to your point, it is a macho league. He wants to be out there. It probably kills him to put on a sweatsuit and walk out there and trot onto the sideline. Everybody's yelling, Jair, we need you. We want you. We love you. Da-da-da. We want to see the, right? With the sword. Right?
That's pretty good, by the way.
That was pretty good.
It kills him. I think that's something that he's not revealing to you, in my opinion, because it did kill me.
And my argument would be people would understand you better if you took advantage of me being here to hear that part of it and share that with them. Because there are definitely fans that are like, what is with this guy? He never plays. He doesn't play through injury. And they have a very negative view of him that I don't think is necessarily fair.
So speaking of not wanting to talk to somebody, there was about one time a week that Jason Wilde does not want to talk to me. Do you know when that would be?
It's not that I don't want to talk to you. I just want to make it really difficult on you. And that would be during Yes or No.
Yes or No with Jason Wilde is coming up next. It's Green Bay Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Injuries happen, but you don't have to play in pain or stay on the sidelines. Whether it's your kids dealing with a sports injury, college athletes, or the rest of us weekend warriors, the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin will quickly diagnose your problem, lay out a treatment plan that works for you, and get you back in the game. They fixed my knee. My mother-in-law is back on the dance floor with a new hip. These are the experts you can trust. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
UW Credit Union presents the Prep Mania Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org.
Hi, this is Dennis Semrau from Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania here on 100.5 ESPN. We're very excited to partner with UW Credit Union to help bring you even closer to the stories of great young student athletes. Each week, as part of this season of Prep Mania, will feature the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week. UW Credit Union is proud to support local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. And just like the fantastic student athletes we'll be telling you about all season, UW Credit Union's online banking also goes above and beyond with top-rated service and security that exceeds industry standards. UW Credit Union is here for you, presenting the Prep Mania Student Athlete of the Week. Learn more at uwcu.org.
At Cousin Subs, the bigger your smile, the better we feel. That's why our menu features something for everyone, like our Wisconsin cheese curds, golden fries, creamy shakes, and mac and cheese, all paired with your favorite sub, or our subs in a bowl. And don't forget our kids' meals, now with a free cookie. Here's to a better day. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Talk Badger sports year-round with the Jump Around podcast.
The one thing I learned from Coach Alvarez is the plan to win.
Tune in for the Top Badgers conversations every week, featuring special guests with Wisconsin players, coaches, and more.
In my mind, a lot of the alumni mind, kickoff starts now. Everything we do between now and August 30th, 2025, we're determined where we go as a program.
The Jump Around, brought to you by Game Day Men's Health Middleton. Streaming live every Thursday on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and available wherever you get your podcasts. It's a new era for Wisconsin football fans.
I want the offense to look like it knows what it's doing. It doesn't look like someone just picked up the controllers and was learning a playbook while they're trying to play the game.
Taking the conversation digital with the Jump Around 3.0.
At this point, the Badgers are metaphorically in football. They're trying to learn to crawl before they can walk and then run again offensively.
The Jump Around with Jim Rutledge, outfitted by Iron Jock Apparel. Streaming live every Thursday at 12:30 on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison always does New Year's Eve big, so join the celebration and make it a night to remember. On Tuesday, December 31st, we have New Year's Eve hot ticket drawings, both day and night, with a $5,000 grand prize at 4 p.m. and another $5,000 grand prize just after midnight. Plus, you'll enjoy rewards play, a live DJ, a wide selection of food and drink specials, and of course, our 95% average payout. Come for the drawing, stay for the party at
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Stroh, Jason Wilde, Super Bowl champion Jared Bush, Gabe Neitzel hanging out with you.
What's with these lights?
The ones that are shining in our face? Well, you see, Jason, we don't only do radio anymore. We are also streaming live
is
on
Tausch
YouTube.
Here? I can't see him. I'm blinded.
Tausch is here, and Tausch will be standing here for the Green Bay Game Night postgame show with the lights shining on him.
I understand, but he isn't right now, and I can't see anybody. I see a fire. That's about all I can see.
Wait, how are we supposed to start postgame early if Tausch is going to be at the game?
He's going to leave early. He's going to leave his family. He's going to come right over here.
Yeah, he said he's going to abandon ship around mid-third quarter. What was his prediction this morning on Wilde?
Yeah, but then he said 7 minutes into the fourth quarter was when he was going to start the postgame show. So what is he leaving as early as he's claiming he's going to then?
Yeah, maybe it's a long walk for him.
I assume he's in some sort of posh, warm suite, too.
I would guess so.
He's not out there in the cold.
Yeah.
His rabbit jacket.
I'll be out in the cold. I'm braving the elements.
That's because you're a gamer.
Am I?
No, but I wanted to say something nice.
Well, let's see if I'm a gamer, because it's time to play my favorite game and America's favorite game, recently revealed in People's Magazine.
People's?
Yeah. Is it People or People's?
It's People.
No. People's Magazine is about the magazine that would name this their favorite game show. Yes.
According to People's made-up magazine, this is America's game. It is time now to play Yes or No with Jason Wilde.
Will today be the day there are black and white answers from our most respected journalist?
Possibly. I think we shouldn't be greedy. Maybe. You would certainly hope so.
It's time for Yes or No with Jason Wilde.
Yeah, you would certainly hope this is finally the day we get black and white answers from our most respected journalists. Now, the thing is, spoiler alert, it won't be that day. Right, Jason?
Maybe.
Let's start with something we talked about earlier in the show. Gabe and I discussed with Steve Scafidi earlier in the show. Last week, the defense coming through. 7 sacks in terms of the pass rush last week. Yes or no, you believe the pass rush has turned a corner at the later point of the season?
It might have. I don't know. And that's part of the problem with their pass rush, right? I mean, they had the 8 sacks in Tennessee. They had 7 sacks in Seattle.
That equals 15.
And they've got 40 total, so 25 over the other 12 games. That's about 2 a game. I'm no mathematician, but when I look at that, I would say that that's pretty inconsistent productivity, right? And so, even the Houston game, they had 4. So now we're talking about 11 games. You had 21, right? So that's even less than 2 a game in those others. Look, the bottom line is, I think this defense. And I wrote about this. You can read it in this morning's State Journal or on Madison.com. Talking with Jeff Hafley, I asked him a question. I got a 774-word response.
Whoa!
And we went back a little bit in between. I used the S word at one point, which was great. I don't think the Packers.com folks were happy about it. Because here's what happened.
What's the context of that?
So a couple weeks ago, after the Bears game, we were having our weekly session with Jeff Hafley, and I'll be honest, we did ask more negative slanted questions than positive questions. And at one point, he finally called us a bunch of Debbie Downers. And so I said, all right, well, let's hear what you're so happy about then, essentially. And he talked about, and he's great. Like, I am a big fan of my interactions with him. I wish we got more one-on-one time with coordinators because I really am really into him. That said, I said, well, I gave you some blank, and we gave each other some blank a couple weeks ago about the Bears game, but I said I have to admit I thought going from a 3-4 where all the guys talked about how complicated that scheme was and how they had to think so much to going to a 4-3 where you were going to be aggressive, it was going to be simpler. I thought you would hit the ground running more quickly, and now I realize that doesn't matter what you're doing. If it's a new system, it takes a while. And so I had a much greater appreciation for that. It led to a great answer about him saying he likes where they're at. There's obviously stuff they still need to fix. But I think they are very much trending in a really good direction as opposed to last year when, if you remember, there was some like fool's gold with the Joe Barry defense, and then Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers came in here, and Baker Mayfield had a perfect passer rating.
Bryce Young, Tommy DeVito. I mean,
So I think if you're looking for reasons to have greater hope than Gabe and I saying they're a year away, that's another one you can put in the hope column is this defense is trending in the right direction. But they have to be more consistent with the pass rush, which they have not been.
Consistency is definitely the word. Now, I will say, to your credit, you did that was a non-answer, but it sounded like closer to a yes than a no in terms of them turning the corner. Let's go to Gabe Neitzel on this one.
Yeah,
Gabe?
no, Jason was very non-committal because it's hard to commit one way or the other.
Disagree.
I mean, he was happy and positive about his interactions with Jeff Hafley. I don't know if that's going to help the Packers get 3 sacks in tonight's game.
It might.
Because Jeff Hafley and Jason had a pleasant interaction this week.
I'll be chanting my name. I'll get a game ball.
Jason. But I have a tendency to think, no, that this team has not turned a corner when it comes to pass rush. We saw it earlier this year when it came to the Tennessee Titans. There just has been way too much inconsistency because if they had slowly built up to this, sure. But the game before against Detroit, 1 sack, 3 quarterback hits. It's not like they built up to this. It came out of nowhere. That's an offensive line that, especially after they lost their center in Seattle, that was really struggling. When they play a better team like Minnesota next week on the road, I just don't see this unit, especially the front four, being able to get that consistent pressure to make things tough for Sam Darnold.
Despite the way we talk to him sometimes, JB knows more about defense than anybody on this panel. So I will say, obviously, what we saw last week, encouraging for Green Bay's defense.
Yeah.
But do you think their pass rush has turned that corner?
Yeah. I think Wildy's on the right track. I think, Gabe, you're on the right track, too. I think understanding that switch from the 3-4 takes some time. I think just understanding the components from the outside linebacker to the 3 technique to the 9 technique all changes, and it takes time to grasp that concept and to execute it flawlessly and without any mental errors. I think as well as that, and I'll mention this, I think our secondary, I think the front seven is the strength of the defense, which in my opinion, I disagree on how it should be built. I think they're definitely, hopefully, the secondary can step up and make plays, make a little bit more key plays on that defense, because that pass rush definitely goes hand in hand. If you were to sit down and talk, Wildy, with the defensive line and speak with the pass defense, you'd be like, how do we get more pass rush? And be like, well, we got to hold up. And then at the same time, the pass defense can be like, you know what, the D-line needs to get after the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And so it all really goes hand in hand. So my biggest concern, are we just pointing at the D-line in the pass rush, or are we avoiding the real topic, which is the secondary, in my personal opinion, that needs to step up to allow the pass rush to get to the quarterback. That's where I kind of stand. But I do agree that there might be a transitionary period where they need to make that adjustment from a 3-4 to a 4-3. Ultimately, what I've seen, they're rushing 5 guys versus having 4, because 4 haven't get there. But I definitely love Quay Walker adding into the blitz, and so I think that's something that has been effective. I think it's something that they're actually producing, and I think that hopefully in my mind, when I turn on the film and when I see the games, that they're actually highly productive, which allows alleviate stress from the secondary.
JB, you're one of the defensive backs. You're supposed to blame the defensive lineman, not the other way around.
I agree. But at the same time, I wear that G for a reason.
No, you're a good teammate.
What it stands for is for greatness. And
that was good.
And I feel like the secondary is shooting below the
He's
bar.
not taking your advice.
I thought there were a couple of examples. I think Rashawn Gary a couple weeks ago had a coverage sack. I think in Seattle.
Yep.
I think there have been some examples, but again, it goes back to the conversation we had about Jair Alexander. If you have him out there, it probably helps the pass rush too. So we'll see what happens because Minnesota's got a really good offensive line. They've replaced Christian Darrisaw with the former left tackle Robinson from Jacksonville. He's stepped in and been really good for them. That'll be a big challenge next Sunday.
All right, last one for you fellas. Rapid fire here. Packers have scored 30 points 4 weeks in a row. Will they do it again tonight?
Yes.
There we go. Jason Wilde, Jared Bush.
Yeah, definitely. I think they go off.
31-28 final, though.
Ooh. Finally gave me a yes. I'm so excited.
I'm just trying to help you. I looked at the clock.
Gabe Neitzel.
Is that a
Yes.
30 points tonight?
Yes, 30-plus points tonight.
Okay, we are all in agreement there against a subpar.
No, it's going to be a
New Orleans.
I was about to say, here comes
game
here comes
here comes a rude
19
awakening.
points.
Yeah, I don't think they go in double digits.
Well, JB, I'm gonna let you have your final word before we let you go.
For
I know
sure.
you've got some other things to run to.
sure.
Packers Saints kicking off in about 90 minutes. What do you think happens tonight?
Yeah, I think it's 35 plus points. I think the Saints. I think they shoot below 15 points.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it's going to be a blowout,
Yeah.
just like Vegas thinks so. 14.5-point favorites are the Green Bay Packers. JB, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks when Chicago comes to town. Got to tell you quick about the Island Resort Casino. It's a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee, with everything you like to do in one awesome location. Visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today. Jason, Gabe, and I roll on with you. We'll take a look at the injury report coming up next on Green Bay Game Day, which is presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Gift giving is easy with an Island Resort and Casino gift card. Every person on your list can spend their time just the way they like it. Dining, going to a concert, relaxing at the Drift Spa, playing golf. No matter the reason, gift cards to the Midwest's premier resort destination are a sure bet. To order gift cards, stop by the Island Club today or call 877-ISL-SHOW. Then spread some joy because everyone knows your total experience is at the Island.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. Equinox EV and the all-new Equinox offer award-winning quality and style to see you through the holiday season. See why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Indulge in the ultimate chocolate experience this holiday season with Gail Ambrosius Chocolatier. Your significant other will love the handcrafted selection created right here in Madison. Stop by their store on Atwood and treat your taste buds today. Once you taste the difference that locally owned and made chocolate provides, you'll never go back to the mass-produced box of chocolate again. Share the joy with a box of chocolate from Gail Ambrosius Chocolatier on Atwood.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
You're probably being overwhelmed with information about semaglutide, the game-changing FDA-approved weight loss treatment. Jim Rutledge here. I was like you. I didn't know what it was until I saw Dr. Nessa Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. He can walk you through the benefits. He can tell you if it's right for you, and then you could come up with a plan to change your life with a workout plan and semaglutide. With that plan, I dropped 20% body fat to 10% body fat, and I dropped over 20 pounds of fat and kept my muscle. You can do the same thing. Go see Dr. Ness Rodriguez at Carbon World Health.
Madison's home of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Lillard lobs up top to Giannis. Oh, what a play!
Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
Underneath it, pump set, left side, powers it down. What a rally! And Wisconsin comes out on top.
And now, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Hit to left and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Gone! Wow!
This is Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers. 100.5 ESPN.
This is Devin Robinson from Badger Volleyball, here with Madison's best roofing, siding, and window company, Ridgetop Exteriors. I protect the net at the field house, and they protect your home. They're trusted, local, and affordable. Go to ridgetopexteriors.com today. That's ridgetopexteriors.com.
Welcome back to Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
It's the most wonderful time of the
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, rolls on live from Green Bay, just in the shadow of the south end zone of Lambeau Field here at the Tundra Trio. Alex Strofe, Jason Wilde in Green Bay, hanging out with you. And Gabe Neitzel back at the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. It is time now to take a look at the injury report, which is presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Visit orthowisconsin.com today for info. We knew Jair Alexander was out. We knew linebacker Quay Walker was out. Joining them on the inactive list, both of the rookie safeties, safety Javon Bullard and safety Evan Williams, are out of this game. And then the healthy scratches, per usual, wide receiver Malik Heath and offensive lineman Jacob Monk. Jason, I want to start with the defensive backfield for obvious reasons. No Bullard, no Williams, no Alexander. What's the latest there?
Well, obviously the challenge here is that they're down in the secondary now, both of their young safeties, the rookies. I mean, the fact that Evan Williams, who showed up on the injury report on Saturday with a quadriceps injury that clearly must have happened in practice, they listed him as questionable. I mean, that's significant. Now they're going to, I almost certainly think that they would start Zane Anderson at one of the safety spots. And he played really well for them a few weeks ago.
He did.
So that would be an encouraging sign that he has that time under his belt. But look, when you're down three, if you think of that group as a five-man starting group, right? The fact that you're down three of your five starters, that really the only two that you have are Keyshawn Nixon and Xavier McKinney, that's less than ideal. The good news is, not only do the Saints not have Chris Olave, they don't have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who is also inactive, who has been their best wide receiver since they picked him up. So they are in if you're going to be shorthanded in the secondary, going against Spencer Rattler and a decimated wide receiving group is a pretty good option.
Yeah, I guess in any other situation, Gabe, I'd be freaking out a little bit. Today, just get healthy and get back from Minnesota.
Dante Pettis doesn't scare you?
No, I haven't heard that name in a really long time.
This guy's dead.
I didn't know he was still
him off then.
I didn't know he was still in the league. So no, is the answer, Gabe. He does not scare me, and neither does Spencer Rattler. But I guess I didn't realize Javon Bullard was still not ready to go because he missed last week too, right, Jason?
He did. I believe this is his third game that he's missed.
Okay, and Jair, this is since, other than technically the Bears game, every game since the bye, so that's not shocking.
Yeah, it's an ankle for Quay Walker, right? He left the game in Seattle with an ankle injury.
It was an ankle, but is it listed as an ankle?
Well, somebody tweeted out that it was a concussion, and no, that's not him. He's got an ankle injury, and so does Javon Bullard.
Okay, got it. Glad we got the body parts squared away. At the end of the day, I guess this is fine, right? Like, typically this is the segment where I go, oh, no, their game plan's
You're not
so
saying
different.
fine like being like the little dog in the fire. Fine, this is fine, right? The little
the meme, no.
Drinking coffee and...
Yeah. Very hip reference by you. Yeah, no, that is not what I'm
It's only
referring
like
to.
15 years
yeah,
old.
Yeah, oh my. Look, honestly, I'm kind of excited for Zane Anderson. Like, that's really where my head goes here,
no,
which is way too rational for me typically.
Right, and there's a guy who has paid his dues on special teams, played really well in the Detroit game, if you recall, had a huge stop late in the game on a 3rd and 1 where he stuffed Montgomery.
Yeah.
The bad news is that, unfortunately, crazy Dan Campbell went for an
every fourth down he gets,
and they converted that one. And then because if he makes that play and they do the conventional thing of kicking the field goal, that play allows Jordan Love to at least have a chance to go down and get the game time field goal and force overtime. So Zane Anderson, big opportunity again tonight. I believe someone picked him. I think it was Jesse as his Steinhoffel sleeper of the week.
He's right there. We can ask him, Jesse, did you pick Zane Anderson as your Steinhoffel?
I can't see him through these lights. I have no idea who that is. Well, I didn't say that I wanted to see you closer.
Yeah, he ran right at the Jesse Nelson making it about himself.
He wanted to see you.
I actually kind of like the lighting angle in that one instance.
You don't like it when you can't see Tausch, but you like it when you can't see your producer, Jesse Nelson. Wildy and Tausch, weekday mornings from 9 to noon. You're doing a show tomorrow.
We are. So Christmas Eve edition.
You'll be breaking
Jesse's
down everything.
He's off, of course.
Naturally. He's going to the game tonight. Big night. Can't work tomorrow.
Night. He'll hopefully stay awake for it.
Good point. Great point. The best part about Jesse Nelson is he's legitimately admitted to falling asleep in Lambeau Field, which is impossible to do.
Look, one of the great things, I'm going to do this because it's the Christmas season.
Oh, where's
but
this going?
It's the truth. Jesse's a really good sport. We give him a lot of grief. He does take entirely too many days off, but we love him, and he's been a great producer for our show. We're lucky to have him.
Wow. Merry Christmas. Are you going to stick around for our airing of grievance coming up next?
I don't have any grievances to air, but I'll stick around for another segment.
All right, we are going
Since
to
I
play.
got here late anyway.
We typically play Gruber Law Office's One Call, which we will still do. But Gabe and I are also going to do Gruber Law Office's One Grievance. That's all, in the spirit of today being festive.
So I got to come up with one of each.
One of each.
Okay.
Gabe, I know you can manage that. You're a pro, right?
I'm ready to go, man. You want me to come up with a grievance? That's easy.
Yeah, you might have 8. This might just become the Gabe Neitzel airing of grievances, plural. We're all going to find out together. We play our Gruber Law Office's One Grievance, that's all, and One Call, that's all, as we get into the third hour of Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, next on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Life's busy, and Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're grabbing fresh coffee, a bakery treat, or a quick meal, Quick Trip is your go-to for quality and fast service. From clean restrooms to fresh groceries, easy meal options, and guaranteed fuel, we make your day easier. Plus, enjoy perks like free ATMs, free air for your tires, and sweet rewards with the Quick Rewards program. Everything you need in one stop, and always a friendly, see you next time, Quick Trip, where your day gets easier and better.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
They say punters are people too, especially on KBN.
Power rank the three of us. Who would you protect most the least? No way. You gotta do it. We are matched up against clones of ourselves.
Yeah. Obviously, stroke person is pretty weak, so all the blows ain't gonna be too hard.
3, I'll go with Kyle.
God dang it! Why you gonna let me get beat up? Gonna let me get beat up right now? I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 to 4 on ESPN Madison.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
Hey, this is former Badger Brad Norton.
It's a fake. Great call and great execution.
You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
It's time to get this tailgate started and get you ready for the green and gold game. This is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Broadcasting live from the shadow of the South End Zone at Lambeau Field. Alongside Gabe Neitzel and Super Bowl champion Jared Bush, here's Alex Strofe.
Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. The final hour of our program as we count you down to kickoff. Monday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers looking to clinch a spot in the postseason with a win tonight over the New Orleans Saints, coming to town, getting rid of the butterflies by working out in the walk-in freezer in their cafeteria.
I thought I converted you earlier in the show. Now you're bringing that back.
It's objectively hilarious, regardless of if you think it's a good idea or not.
This is not that far off from that, by the way.
No, we're actually outside, which I know you can't get the full effect in New Orleans, but nonetheless. Alex Strofe, Jason Wilde sticking around for an extra segment, and Gabe Neitzel with you. Gabe, how you doing back there? You warm? You toasty?
Oh, yeah. It is a perfect 72 degrees in the Gruber Law Offices One Call That's All studios.
I'm glad you have us beat by literally 50 degrees. Just a touch over 22 degrees here in Green Bay as we are about an hour away from kickoff between the Packers and the Saints. So each and every week on Green Bay Game Day, in the third hour of the program, shortly after typically Jason Wilde departs,
yeah, I usually leave.
We play a game called Gruber Law Offices One Call, right? One call, that's all. You make one prediction for the upcoming game between the Packers and the Saints. We did it a little bit different back on Thanksgiving. We did one thanks, that's all.
Oh, clever.
Today is Festivus, of course, popularized by Seinfeld, the hit sitcom back in the 1990s.
Did it exist before Seinfeld? I thought they created
it was created and popularized by Seinfeld. You're right. Just want to get
words matter.
Frank Costanza invented it.
Frank Costanza did invent it. Now, we are going to honor
As
Frank
I rained
Costanza.
blows down upon him, I thought, there must be a better way.
I always forget how big of a Seinfeld fan that Gabe is.
Yeah, it's impressive.
He knows every word from that show.
Chewy and I quote it, and I think it frustrates Jen from time to time when we go off on our tangents.
The fact that Chewy can remember that many lines but can't remember what he had for breakfast is also incredible.
That is, it is truly impressive. All right, we are going to first play Gruber Law Office's one airing of grievance. That's all. Gabe, I actually want to kick this one off.
Okay.
My airing of grievance has to do with you.
Uh-oh.
Me?
You.
What did I do?
So, Gabe, first off, I've told you this both off and on the air. I love that you are a member of this show this year. It's been a pleasure and a treat working with you before every Packers game on Green Bay Game Day, for the most part.
Here comes the but.
But you're just always too negative. It's never good enough for you. I don't know why sometimes you can't just enjoy the ride that the Green Bay Packers take us on. I get you have expectations. I get you think they're a year away. But sometimes, Gabe, I just want you to shut up and enjoy the ride this team's bringing us on. In 2010, did anybody expect the 6th-seeded Green Bay Packers to go on the run they did, beat the number 2 seed, the number 1 seed on the road the way they did on their way to winning a Super Bowl? I get it hasn't been picture perfect this year. But can't you just enjoy the ride, Gabe?
Well, no, I wish I could enjoy the ride more, but every fan just wants to let me know that this is a Super Bowl team. So then when I hold them to Super Bowl expectations, I become the bad guy?
Yes.
Yes. That's exactly what
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's charming, isn't it?
So, Gabe Neitzel, my grievance is with you. I love you. I adore you. I appreciate you being on the show with me each and every week. But damn, dude, just enjoy the ride sometimes. Could you?
We'll see.
Yes or no, I'll give you a no. Don't be true to who you are, Gabe.
I got that off my chest.
Don't be bullied.
I already feel worlds better heading into Christmas Eve tomorrow. Gabe Neitzel, I hope he's not coming back at me.
I hope he is.
I kind of hope he is too.
I mean, had I been prepared,
sunshine.
Had I been
grievance. One grievance, that's all.
My one grievance is Kenny Clark. I don't know how it could be anybody else because you
Fair.
take a look at the contract he received from the Packers this offseason when we were wondering if the Packers were going to renew that contract or try to bring him back. And, I mean, he came off of a career-high 7.5 sacks last year. He's got 1 sack this year. That's it. He's got 1 single sack. He's been non-existent for many of the games. 18 solo tackles, 32 total tackles. He just has really not been that force that they need him to be in the middle of that line. Again, maybe that's transitioning from a 3-4 where he had so much of his success to a 4-3, but he is somebody that I thought, hey, you just have to worry about 1 gap instead of multiple gaps from a 3-4 to a 4-3 that he would transition and have a pretty good year, at least comparable to what he did a year ago. And he is at the heart, to me, of why they have struggled as much as they have rushing the passer, because he has not been able to be that guy like he was a year ago, getting that pass rush and getting in quarterbacks' faces.
Okay, very good grievance by Gabe Neitzel. Now, this goes back to a conversation we had a bit earlier in the program of maybe this defense is turning the corner a little bit, right? They've been a little bit more consistent. They've looked better in past weeks. He is a guy who has not been the disruptor that we have become so used to in years past. So that's fair. Jason, thoughts on Kenny Clark?
Yeah, I thought that was a very balanced grievance, Gabe. And I thought the fact that you pointed out, this is a guy who has never played in anything except the 3-4. Like, not in high school, not in college, not in the NFL, first under Dom Capers, then under Pettin, then under Joe Barry. So maybe that's part of it, but even so, I think it's a fair critique. And frankly, I would say Kenny would probably say it's a fair critique.
Have you talked to him at all this season?
I have. I talked to him a few weeks ago, and look, he's not happy with his season either, and he's one of those guys that when he's not having enough of an impact, he says he's not having enough of an impact, and he would acknowledge that. I think he would argue that there are some reasons for it, but he has not hit his stride or his comfort zone yet, but I think that's a very fair criticism.
All right, time now to take a look at our Gruber Law Office's one call.
Well, I get to give my grievance.
You said you didn't have one.
Well, my grievance is I'm sick. And my parents used to send me to school no matter what to get everybody else sick when I was growing up. So I have a very strong immune system. So very rarely, if you notice, am I sick. And man, I was worried I wasn't gonna have enough voice left for Homer when I joined him and Gary Ellerson on Green Bay Game Night. But I think I'm hitting my second wind. I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm good. You sound even better than you did at noon today.
Yeah, I was
at the
really
end of
in rough
House.
shape. Yeah, it's ugly.
Well, it was probably because you were wearing sandals and shorts while it was snowing.
No, I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Okay,
I don't think you can draw that and connect those dots. I'm sorry.
Are you sure about that?
You went to UW Stevens Point for journalism, not pre-med?
Media studies. Journalism's even a step too far.
Yeah,
you have a journalism
degree. Tell me that.
I have a media studies degree. What does that mean? 4 years removed, I'm still not sure. All right, time now to take a look at our Gruber Law Office's one call. That's all for the upcoming game, Packers-Saints. We each make one prediction for the upcoming game. That is typically not a game score, but I will bend the rules as Jason Wilde's going to leave us. He can give us his game score if he wants. Gruber Law Offices has a reputation for winning. Their experienced and powerful team works tirelessly to help people and families seriously injured in accidents by providing the best care and service. There is never a fee until your case is won. Gruber Law Offices has been serving the people and state of Wisconsin for over 35 years. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all. Gabe Neitzel, one call for Packers Saints.
Dontavian Wicks finds the end zone tonight. His snap count has been slowly but steadily going up, and that's because they clearly trust him as a blocker. And with this team and the way they operate and the way they've operated since the bye of really trusting and turning around, handing the ball off to Josh Jacobs, they put Dontavian Wicks in those situations. So it makes sense that he's in there for those play-action situations as well, because you don't want to tip off the defense and, oh, hey, we're going to throw the ball deep here with a different personnel grouping. He has also been catching and holding onto the football as of late. Recent weeks, those drops haven't been as nearly frequent as they were at the beginning part of the season. I think this last 3-game stretch is going to be big for Dontavian Wicks, and it starts tonight as he finds the end zone for 6 points.
Dontavian Wicks TD is Gabe Neitzel's one call. Jason Wilde?
That's a really good one, Gabe. I said on our show this morning, too, that, I actually said this to Tay as well, everybody was talking about him when he was dropping all his passes. He's had 4 good games in a row. He hasn't dropped a single ball that was catchable. He has been quietly having really productive games, and no one said a peep about him. And as I said to him, that's one of the crummy things about this business, and I need to do a better job. As we are an hour away from kickoff.
It scares me every week without fail.
And you just hit your head on the ceiling in here because you
scares
jumped so
me
high.
every week.
So that's a good one. I'm going to stick by the one that I made somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but Eric Stokes pick 6 tonight.
Wow. Wow.
If he gets it, I'm going straight to every casino that is in a 150-mile radius, and I'm sure I'll win big because that would be incredible if he goes from over 1,000 snaps without a PBU or an INT to a pick 6.
What might be even more incredible is the fact that you went from tongue-in-cheek to serious in the matter of less than an hour.
I'm not that serious.
Well, it's a prediction game.
I'm not good at predictions. I don't.
You're typically not in the prediction business, I believe is what you said?
Indeed, I've said that many times. But I wanted to fit in with the cool kids and with you.
My one call is the Packers score on each of their 3 first drives. They did it in their first 4 last week. I think they follow that up with another fast start this week. Each of their first 3 drives equal points tonight against a mediocre New Orleans Saints defense. It is, though. I think you're joking. You're lying. You're being sarcastic. You're telling me that's not bold.
I was sarcastic. I was being facetious, snarky, maybe a little bit.
Okay, maybe 5 segments is too much for you.
I'm
enjoying this.
I am, too. I mean, it's always
I wish I would have left, actually.
Oh, okay. See ya.
Bye.
Jason Wilde here.
Hey, can I do that? Like, boom, off the head of.
Yeah.
Look.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not here to lecture you.
Here's the older brother, Jason Wilde.
No, I'm not at all. I was just saying that, for Gabe to predict someone scoring a touchdown and me
predicting
to make
somebody
a
scoring a
very
touchdown.
Ridiculous prediction probably, but three scoring on their first 3 drives, kind of meh. And you're a mover.
What if I say
shaker.
touchdowns?
They get out to a 21-0 lead.
Yeah.
I'm on. See, that's bolder. They kick 3 field goals. It's 9-0.
Oh,
You'd technically be right.
I was thinking more in the wheelhouse of like 17 points.
All right, well,
2 touchdowns and a field goal.
I don't know. From what I hear from Matt LaFleur, they've got a great defensive line, and it's going to be really hard to score points on them. So your bold prediction may turn out not only to be lame, but false.
Is LaFleur, is he now living in a world where he wants to receive the kickoff if they win the toss?
So I actually did that in my 3 things to watch for tonight. They've played 14 games. They have gotten the ball first 12 of those times.
Wow.
Now, they've won the toss 7 times. They've elected to take the ball, I believe, 5 of the 7 times. Those have resulted, of those 5, 2 punts, an interception, a touchdown, and a field goal. So that's not a real high percentage of – that's 1 out of 5. That's 20% when they've chosen to take the ball that they've actually gotten a touchdown. But, he said he goes with his gut. He pointed at his gut, which is more of a washboard stomach than me, and that's his line. But look, that's incredible because it tells you, too, the fact that he's gotten it out of 14 games, they've gotten the ball first 12.
Wow.
And he's chosen to defer twice. That tells me that almost everybody else in the league defers.
Yep.
And it's because, and Gabe, you and I talked about this, I think, last week when it came up, like, the whole idea of deferring is because if you manipulate the clock effectively,
double dip,
you can keep the ball away from your opponent to finish the first half and then get the ball to start the second half. And so I personally don't agree with his gut. I don't think he should take the ball as often as he does. It worked last week in Seattle, but it doesn't always work, and I think it's a smarter play to kick it away, get a defensive stop, you would hope, and then get the ball.
It's a man that does his homework. He's the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde. You'll hear him on the postgame show with Tausch, Gary Ellerson, and Homer after the game, and you will hear him tomorrow beginning at 9 a.m. on ESPN Wisconsin on Wilde and Tausch. Jason, Merry Christmas. Thanks for being here, and look forward to hearing from you next week ahead of the Vikings game.
It does get a little chilly in the press box sometimes, so sometimes I have to put on my coat.
I wish I could cut your mic.
But
yeah.
I know you're going to be cold out there, so God bless you for being such a diehard Packers fan, and I'll be thinking about you when I'm drinking my hot chocolate. So you do a great job on this show. I can't wait to do the next round of yes or no next week.
We've only got a few games left.
I know.
A few more rounds of yes or no. He's getting emotional.
No,
probably a good time
I'm just
to tell
sniffling because I'm sick.
Probably a good time to tell him to take care, be good. Gabe and I roll on with you coming up after this as we continue to preview this one. Monday Night Football. It's Packers Saints. More Green Bay Game Day after this.
More Green Bay Game Day coming up on ESPN Wisconsin at 620 WTMJ.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. Zero sugar, zero carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
My husband and I grew up across the street from each other. We've known each other since we were 8 years old. When he recently passed away, I looked at our wedding bands and I wanted them combined into one ring. Chalmers Jewelers totally understood what I wanted. When I got the final product, they knocked it out of the park. It makes me feel kind of warm inside knowing that we're together in this one ring.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Are you looking for the perfect gift this holiday season? Hi, I'm Devin Chalmers.
And I'm Garrett Chalmers. For 32 years, Chalmers Jewelers has helped to keep Madison sparkling. We can help you with your shopping list. Consider layered necklaces and bracelets, mixed metal stacks, and bold combinations.
Solid gold chains, and vibrant gemstone jewelry. Don't forget, we offer free gift wrapping.
Visit either of our 2 locations.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, a special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If you can't have a polite and civil exchange with someone when you're getting your coffee, you need time in social jail. You need to serve maybe 30 minutes, an hour. This needs to be on your record. We need to have different records that are attached to us as humans. One of them needs to be, can you behave correctly in public?
Unsportsmanlike. Weekdays from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event,
Those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Imagine a place where all your fitness needs are under one roof. Sarah Tauscher here. The Prairie Athletic Club has everything you need, from group fitness, personal training, CrossFit, and so much more. Join now and you can save $10 per month for your first year and enjoy 3 months of hot yoga for free. Kickstart your healthiest lifestyle all in one place at the back. Stop by today or visit prairieathletic.com. Prairie Athletic Club, family fun community.
Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Happy holidays, a Merry Christmas to you and yours. Final game of Week 16 in the National Football League is Packers-Saints right here at Lambeau Field. Kickoff about 50 minutes from now. I'm Alex Strofe, joined by Gabe Neitzel back in the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee, counting you down to kick off the final game, as I mentioned, of Week 16. With a win, the Packers solidify their spot in the postseason. They don't solidify their seed, but they do clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight. And they're 14.5-point favorites, so certainly looking like they will do just that, even without Javon Bullard, Evan Williams, Jair Alexander, and Quay Walker all out on the defensive side of the football tonight. Gabe, is of those four, Javon Bullard, Evan Williams, Jair Alexander, Quay Walker, is one of those more concerning than the others to you, or because it's the Saints, you're like, just rest up and be back next week?
Yeah, I don't know if there's one that really stands out more than any of the others. I mean, the fact that it's both safeties, and now you've got to have that cornerback depth tested a little bit because they like dropping Bullard down into the slot when they can. Obviously, that makes that one a little bit tougher to swallow, the fact that you have two at that position. I mean, their linebackers, the depth has been pretty solid all season, so I think you can survive with Quay, with him out this week. So, yeah, I would say more the safeties than anything else, but there's nothing that concerns me actually for this game. I mean, certainly for the future, going up against Minnesota, I think you want to monitor that situation, certainly.
Yeah, obviously with it being an ankle injury for both Bullard and Walker, it's something to keep an eye on, as we're only 6 days away from that Vikings game. But in a game like tonight, that's kind of my philosophy is, they're kind of going to win with or without you fellas. So take the night off. Let's get you back, hopefully for Minnesota, and you move on from there.
I mean, now, it's unfortunate for Quay because he had been playing some good football. So we'll see what happens for him.
Yeah, he's had such an up and down season.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
More up recently, though.
That's what I'm saying. He had that positive momentum. Hopefully this doesn't derail him because, again, he's one of those guys that has been, I think, more loudly in the first part of this post-bye Packers and more than the recent weeks, but he had been playing some of the best football of his career. You just hope that this doesn't derail that, and he kind of goes back to what he was before because he was responsible for a lot of those big gashing runs that running backs had earlier this season.
Right, you're totally right on that. Now, on the flip side, right, that obviously with guys out, that creates an opportunity for guys deeper on the depth chart. We're likely going to see a lot more Eric Wilson, Isaiah McDuffie, and, of course, the reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week, Edgerrin Cooper at linebacker with no Quay Walker. And Jason mentioned it, Zane Anderson likely the starting safety opposite of Xavier McKinney tonight. Of any of the names I just listed, is there one you're going to be keeping a little bit more of an eye on defensively to see if they can pop against the subpar Saints offense? I
mean, I would say more of what the snap count looks like for Edgerrin Cooper because no matter how much Packers Twitter is going to beg for more snaps for Edgerrin Cooper, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen because he doesn't play the same position as Quay Walker does, right? So it seems like the lack of snaps and him not being out there for as many as everybody would like, that's going to continue as for whatever reason, the Packers were cool with so many of those young guys last year going out there and going through these growing pains and then going, hey, at the end of the season, we're going to be better for it. And that approach certainly worked for them last year. For whatever reason, it doesn't seem like they're willing to take that approach for Edgerrin Cooper, and I'm not really sure why.
No, I fully agree with you. And the thing with the Cooper crowd, which I fully agree with, it's the same as the crowd Rob Domofsky mentioned earlier, right? The one that always said, why are you not giving Aaron Jones the ball 18, 20, 22 times a game? It is now transitioned to, why is Edgerrin Cooper not always on the field? Because he makes that much of an impact. Think about his stats last week, Gabe. 7 tackles, which led the team. 2 quarterback hits, a sack, an interception, 2 pass deflections. I mean, the guy was all over the field on only 58% of the snaps. So I understand where that crowd is coming from, where they say, why isn't he on the field every damn play? Because he's making that big of an impact. But the moral of the story is he's a rookie. Rookies make mistakes. And even while he's making mistakes, he is making that big of an impact. So it makes the mind wonder, what is this guy going to look like in year 2? Because year 1 has been a complete over-deliver in terms of what you expected out of him.
Yeah, and hopefully he continues to grow. And, yes, those mistakes are going to come. And my guess is that the team feels like he's going to make a lot of those mistakes, and maybe they would be costly if he's out there for more than the snaps that he is already playing. And it's just something worth monitoring. If they're actually going to keep him out there for more and longer snaps, especially as, they have to juggle some things around on that linebacking core.
Now, at the safety position, I mentioned Zane Anderson, who will likely start opposite Xavier McKinney at the other safety spot.
Is that your guy?
Yeah, that's my guy. Here's why, because I'm impressed by the growth, right? Like, he was the butt of a joke for me last year on Green Bay Game Day, Gabe, because he was always a healthy scratch, right? And I was like, okay, this guy doesn't actually exist. Nobody knows who Zane Anderson is, right? I thought he was a fake person. And then he goes from that, and then at the end of last year, made some nice plays on special teams. We mentioned the game, I think it was the Chicago game. Is that right, or was it the Detroit game? He made several nice plays on that Thursday night a couple weeks ago. They made you go, oh, they might actually have something with this guy. He will make his first start for the Packers tonight, likely, at safety, which is an exciting opportunity for a guy that's had a few moments in the last year that you go, I'm curious about him. I wonder about him. And this is a game against a pretty inept offense. They're shredded in terms of injuries. We've listed all the names they're without. Kamara, MVS, Olave, Taysom Hill, and obviously their normal quarterback, Derek Carr. They're without all those guys. So against a bad offense and really a backup offense, I'm curious to see what he's got. I'm curious to see his stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a great opportunity, I think, for him because you get to play in that regular season game. Players always talk about the preseason to the regular season, even then to the late regular season and into the postseason about how the game kind of speeds up for you. So for him to be patient and can, even though he's got all these guys in front of him, guys getting drafted ahead of him, for him to get this opportunity, yeah, that's great for him and great opportunity for him to show that, hey, even when those guys are out, we've got capable backups that can handle when Evan Williams and Javon Bullard are out.
Gabe Neitzel, Alex Strofe with you here on Green Bay Game Day, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, ESPN Milwaukee. This is a fun one. It feels like a can't-lose game. It feels like something you gave me a hard time for a couple weeks ago. A 0% chance the Packers lose. I despite some of the injuries defensively, I just can't conjure up.
What had to happen in that game? So you're telling me you haven't learned your lesson?
If the Saints were any better, I would learn my lesson. Are you going to disagree with me? 0%?
I can't go 0% because I also did the research of when the Packers were favored by this much and clicking through en route to getting to that Jaguars game in October of 2012. There were a lot of 13.5-point spreads by the Packers. So again, not quite 2 touchdowns, but right there. And one of those games, Mike McCarthy got fired after because they lost to the Cardinals at Lambeau.
Game.
Yeah, they were 13.5-point favorites in that game.
Were they really?
Yeah, they were 13.5-point favorites in that game. A couple 13.5s that worked out their way.
So the spread is scary, is essentially what you're saying. The spread is scary.
No, I'm just saying it's the NFL and weird things can happen. There's a 13.5-point spread where they beat the Jaguars 24-20. So as long as the Packers go into this with the right mentality, they should be able to take care of business. But again, this is a Saints team that is fighting. Despite all these injuries that you talked about, they very well and very easily could have beaten a team that everybody is talking about today because of what they did yesterday and come from behind and beat the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. The Saints went for 2 and tried to end the game instead of kicking the extra point and playing for overtime last week. And now all of a sudden Washington's the darling, right? Because granted, that game was at home. Different circumstances, different atmosphere, but it is a team that is going to fight early. And you've got an opportunity. I'm with you. If they get off to that fast start, jump out early, you can take that fight out of them pretty quick, I think. But they are going to fight early in the game.
Yeah, that's the most important part to me, right? And that's the most impressive takeaway I had from last week was the fast start. And I said it earlier, but I'll say it again, Gabe, because I think it's important to stress. If the Packers can get off to the fast start they did a week ago, if they can get, let's say 13 to 17 and all the way up to 21 points on their first couple of drives, first 4 drives, let's say, you're going to put bad teams away. The Saints aren't going to be able to keep up if the Packers have 13 points at the end of the first quarter and they're seeing success and turning it into points early in this game. This is just not a good enough football team to keep pace with a team that has scored 30 points now 4 weeks in a row. That's an impressive mark for what Green Bay's been able to accomplish. And look, frankly, the Saints just aren't good enough to keep up with the Packers, period. But if they get off to a fast start, Tausch and Homer might be on the air by halftime.
But again,
it might be that early.
As long as Matt LaFleur has this team, and it seems like he is doing his damnedest to make sure that they don't buy into everything that you just said, right? That they're not buying into this team cannot play with you, this team cannot keep up with you. It seemed like as long as they come in with that right attitude and they're not just going through the motions, yes, then this is a team you should blow out. This is a team you can put away early. This is a team where, by the halfway through the third quarter, we can be going, okay, what's that Vikings game going to look like?
Right.
Let's get ready for getting to Minnesota and trying to win that game and find a way to ruin their dreams of potentially getting a number 1 seed and winning the NFC North. So I think that's the opportunity as long as you have the right attitude going into the game, which I believe they will. I believe they're going to have the right attitude. I think Matt LaFleur is going to have his team ready. But again, this happens to Mike Holmgren is going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Like he's going to be going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and his teams, every once in a while, overlooked an opponent. Jason brought it up earlier in 1997 when they somehow lost to an 0-10 Colts team. Granted, that game was also on the road, but, these things happen even to Hall of Fame coaches.
Absolutely right from Gabe Neitzel. Alex Strofe hanging out with you for about another half an hour as we count you down to kickoff. It's Monday Night Football. Packers-Saints, 7:15 kickoff right here at Lambeau Field. I'm not going to lie to you, Gabe. I'm getting a little cold. I'm getting a little chilly. Okay. And I'm going to the game.
Did you regret the 1 pair of socks, especially going to the game, man? Like, you've been to plenty of Packer games at this point. Like, what are you doing with just 1 pair of socks?
But this isn't even near the coldest game I've attended at Lambeau Field, right? Those playoff games in January are typically where the 1 pair of socks will bite you. I feel like 25 degrees. I'm good with 1 pair of socks and the steel-toe boots I got on.
Yeah, I think the second pair of socks it's never a bad idea. I've never heard when it's been freezing temperatures and you go to Lambeau Field, I don't think anybody's ever walked out of Lambeau going, man, my feet are too hot. I don't think that's ever happened. I just don't think it has.
You know what? That is a fair point by you, but I think I'll be okay. I'm a tough cookie. I'm going to power through.
That's not true.
Hey, that seemed unnecessary.
So did the lie that you put out in front of everybody. And
all right, you know what? I'm not a tough cookie. I'm not a tough cookie.
I didn't want to call you on it, but here, again.
Oh, yes, you did.
Far be it from me, who is sitting in a 72-degree studio, to cast stones upon you. But look, you throw something like that out there, I just have to correct you.
You're the best, man. Game night till Alex Strofe hanging out with you. Couple seconds left. We got to take a look at our best bets, which are presented by the Island Resort and Casino. We got to get you our game picks. Spoiler alert, we're going to pick big wins, but we will discuss how we are going to get there. That is all still ahead as we roll on with you. It's Green Bay Game Day, counting you down to kickoff, presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
We're back with Green Bay Game Day after this on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. Whether I'm headed to a big college football game or just need a reliable ride, I trust Accutrans Group. They're a veteran-owned business that delivers top-notch transportation, perfect for game day or any event. From tailgates to team outings to corporate travel and weddings, Accutrans has you covered. Booking is a breeze and their service is always safe and dependable. Visit AccuTransGroup.com to book your ride today. That's AccuTransGroup.com, your go-to for reliable transportation this football season.
If you want to win at tailgating, you need to Boatify your beverage choice. Boatybox Wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in an eco-friendly box, fitting perfectly in your cooler or trunk. And there's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. One 3-liter Boatybox is the equivalent of 4 bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with wine critics, where there's quality in every sip. Boatybox. Be open to anything. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older. Boatybox Vineyards, Manteca, California.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
At Cousin Subs, the bigger your smile, the better we feel. That's why our menu features something for everyone, like our Wisconsin cheese curds, golden fries, creamy shakes, and mac and cheese, all paired with your favorite sub, or our subs in a bowl. And don't forget our kids' meals, now with a free cookie. Here's to a better day. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Rutledge here. What is a better buying experience? Well, that's the thing. You get to define it. It is the experience that is customized to you. What experience do you want at a car dealership? They can be your trusted friend or your trusted expert. So if you're in the market for a new or new-to-you Silverado, Colorado, Blazer, Trailblazer, remember, you're only minutes away from a better buying experience. And that's at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, cause Truckstar Collision is on my speed dial.
Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truckstar Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truckstar is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truckstar Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
Is Green Bay Game Day, presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Well, I hope you didn't make it this far in Whamageddon, because you officially lost. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll explain it in a moment. Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Alex Strofe live outside of Lambeau Field. Gabe Neitzel back in our studios in Milwaukee. Gabe, are you familiar with Whamageddon?
No, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
So Whamageddon is a game that is played December 1st to Christmas. Anytime you hear Last Christmas, or the first time you hear Last Christmas by Wham, you lose Whamageddon.
Okay.
I am happy to report this is not how I lost Whamageddon. So I got that going for me.
This is
lost
how
early
I
this
lost
week.
Whamageddon. This is the first time I've heard it. Yeah, first time I've heard it this season.
Well, you lost a game you didn't even know you were playing.
Damn.
So I'm sorry to report that to you. That does suck. You almost made it, too. 2 more days. Max Meyerson, the executive producer of Green Bay Game Day, ruined everything.
Max, you cost me Whamageddon?
Sorry, I didn't know it was a game either, to be fair.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you know this was a thing?
No, I had no idea.
He didn't. He did not. All right, time now to look at our best bets.
Was this like a generational thing? Is this like, Whamageddon? Is this like, when I was, when I was a kid, you do the slug bug, you saw a Volkswagen Beetle.
No, that was always a thing. No, I actually think I'm probably the youngest participant in Whamageddon. This is a big thing amongst like 40, 50, 60-year-olds.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I am probably one of the younger participants, but nonetheless. All right, it is time now to take a look not at Whamageddon, at the Island Resort and Casino's best bets. The Island Resort and Casino, a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee, with everything you like to do in one awesome location. Visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today. Let's start with a place we've started off in the last few weeks, Gabe. Josh Jacobs rush plus receiving yards. So combined yards, total yards offensively. 110 and a half. 110 and a half. Big night projected for the stud running back Josh Jacobs.
I'm going to take the under. I feel like I'm going to take a lot of the unders on the Packers starters because I think that they're going to have the ability to jump out to an early lead and put them away, and we're not going to be seeing Josh Jacobs into the fourth quarter. We're not going to be seeing Jordan Love into the fourth quarter.
I was going to say 1.5 snaps for Malik Willis. Clearly you're taking the over there.
I'm taking the over there, yes.
Okay, so a Malik Willis appearance tonight, according to Gabe Neitzel. Let's go to the quarterback, Jordan Love. 231.5 passing yards is his line tonight. I think you're taking the under.
Yeah, I'm taking the under there as well. Again, I just think it's going to be tough for these starters to rack up numbers, especially if the Packers can force a turnover from Spencer Rattler and really just help, get a short field and help jump out to that real early lead.
I tend to agree with you on that. Spencer Rattler is at 182.5.
I guess over.
I feel like it's the under.
I mean, he's going to be throwing a lot. They're going to be down.
They're going to be down. Yeah, that's true. But, even without all these guys on defense, Gabe, I just think they're going to give them a really hard night, the Packers defense to the Saints offense. I think they're going to be causing trouble all night.
Sure, but
it's not a lot, though.
A 200-yard, no Alvin Kamara. There's – I don't think the Packers are going to shut him out and just completely shut him down.
Well, my question then becomes, Gabe, who's catching the football tonight? What did you say earlier? Andre Pettis?
Dante Pettis.
Dante Pettis.
Yes.
Andre Pettis, I think, is a UFC fighter. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm just taking a look at their box score from last week. Dante Pettis had 2 catches. Foster Moreau had 4.
Whoa.
Jawan Johnson had a couple.
Oh, man. This might be so there's a couple of former Packers on that Saints offense.
It might be the under. Dear Lord.
It might be the under because they have nobody. Jamal Williams' revenge game, maybe? I can't even find a line for him, but he is their backup running back tonight, the former Packer Jamal Williams coming back to where it all began for him.
Yeah, but he hasn't even been getting, last week it was Kendre Miller who was getting all the touches at running back for New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Kendre Miller, he's only at, they don't really respect him either. Gabe, he's at 50.5 rushing yards. That's not a big night.
No, I'd probably take the under there.
I would too. I mean, the thing I'm struggling with is I want to take the lower on everything because I just think it's going to be over by halftime. I think the Packers will have a 21-0 or 24-3 lead at the half, and night's pretty much over. It's here you go, Emmanuel Wilson. Here you go, Chris Brooks in the second half.
Yeah,
I don't expect much.
I'm right there with you. I'm still just scarred from looking at who's on this roster.
Yeah,
after
here are
all
their
the
top
injuries.
receivers. Here are their top receivers according to the depth chart on ESPN.com. 3 top receivers. Ready?
Yep.
Tell me if this is a real person, first off. Kevin Austin Jr. Who is that? I think that's serious. I'm a huge NFL fan. I have no idea who that is.
I don't know who Kevin Austin Jr. is, no.
You mentioned Dante Pettis. I thought he was Anthony Pettis, the Milwaukee UFC fighter. So I mean, tells you how much I know about Dante Pettis. He's been in the league a while, though, I think, right?
Yeah, since like 2017-18, he was in one of those draft classes.
Yeah,
so
he's a
been
second-round pick in 2018.
Yeah, he's been, I was about to say 5-6 years, something like that.
And then the third name is Cedric Wilson Jr. He's a former Dolphin, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. He has 13 catches on the year.
Sweet.
So, I mean, that's less than games played. I mean, that's what you got. So, okay. Well, we'll wrap up the show coming up next. I don't know what to tell you except the Packers are going to win big, but I'll find more words for you as Gabe and I bring Green Bay Game Day to a close. I thought that Best Bet segment went really well. Take the lower on everything. Packers win big.
Take the under, even though the Packers are winning big. Unless you like find an interception prop that you like, then maybe you can go over there.
Oh, and maybe like a anytime touchdown props. You know,
anytime
Josh Jacobs
touchdowns.
is probably going to score. In one of my fantasy leagues, I could use a Jaden Reed touchdown or two, so I might sprinkle a couple bucks on that.
I think I'd take, like, if there was like an over 1.5 touchdowns for Josh Jacobs, I think I'd take the over there. I feel like it's
1.5. You think he'll have a couple scores tonight?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so he continues his dominance.
Like if the Packers get to 30 points, if they're scoring 4 or 5 touchdowns before he comes out, like he's going to have 2 of them.
All right, Gabe, next round on me, if you can tell me either of the following information. What team was Cedric Wilson drafted by, and where did he play where did he play his college ball? You can answer either one. Next round on me if you get either one right.
Okay, so obviously not the Dolphins because he was with the Dolphins, and we knew that. Was he with the Cowboys? I feel like he was with the Cowboys.
You got it, brother. Round 6, pick 208 to the Dallas Cowboys. And then final question, what college did he go to? It's one of 8 remaining in the college football playoff. Yeah, one of 8 remaining.
Is he an Oregon guy?
He's not an Oregon guy. He's a Boise State guy.
Oh.
Boise State guy.
Sure.
So there you go.
You say so.
All right, Gabe, I guess we have to hang out outside of work now. Next round's on me.
Damn it.
Gabe Neitzel. Yeah, right. Correct response. Alex Stroff, Gabe Neitzel with you. We will wrap up Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin right after this on ESPN Milwaukee.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Day will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and 620 WTMJ.
Ewald Automotive Group's year-end sale is here, and we're saying yes to the lowest prices of the year on over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles. Yes to 0% financing, no money down, and no payments till March 2025 with Ewald's exclusive 20-year, 200.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Jim, Matt, and Molly every Thursday to find out where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes and High Life Lights. To celebrate our love for dive bars, we are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one extra special dive bar that will have $2 High Lifes on special for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin like Jerry's Place, the Nitty Gritty in Sun Prairie, Whatever Bar, and Sportsman Bar and Grill.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
It's almost go time, Christmas shoppers. So if you're feeling the crunch, check out Fleet Farm for hot last-minute deals. Keep your feast tasty with a Nesco 18-quart roaster, now just $59.99. Keep your loved ones toasty with Milwaukee Heated Apparel and get a free battery pack with purchase. Speaking of cozy, get a portable buddy heater with fuel filter for only $69.99. Wrap up your holiday shopping now at Fleet Farm, home of the best prices, guaranteed.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
My fiance wanted to incorporate me in the process of picking out my engagement ring. And we went to Chalmers, and that was the first place that we went to look for rings.
The staff educated us right away, and we felt very comfortable, and I learned a lot about diamonds.
Chalmers did a great job explaining the process to us, the type of grade of the diamond.
Oh, just from the second you walk in, I mean, there's somebody who's taking you over, showing you exactly what you want in your price range.
I think that my ring is the most beautiful ring I've ever seen, thanks to Chalmers Jewelers.
Are you looking for the perfect gift this holiday season? Hi, I'm Devin Chalmers.
And I'm Garrett Chalmers. For 32 years, Chalmers Jewelers has helped to keep Madison sparkling. We can help you with your shopping list. Consider layered necklaces and bracelets, mixed metal stacks, and bold combinations.
Solid gold chains and vibrant gemstone jewelry. Plus 12 months interest-free financing.
Visit either of our 2 locations.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Gosh, he's good.
I know.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Less than 20 minutes from kickoff. It's Monday Night Football here at Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers looking to secure their spot in the postseason with a win over the New Orleans Saints tonight here at Lambeau Field. I'm Alex Strope alongside the great Gabe Neitzel, who's back at the Gerbil office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. A little bit of a temperature difference between Gabe and I. He is in a warm 72-degree studio. I am in the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio. 31 degrees, actually. So it's actually a little bit warmer than I thought. I'm still cold. I lied to everybody a bit earlier, told everybody I was a tough cookie, and Gabe said, wait a minute, you can't get away with that.
If you ever describe yourself as a tough cookie, chances are you don't actually know what you don't know what toughness is.
Yeah. Okay, are you a tough cookie?
No, man, I am soft.
So
you kidding me?
Yeah.
I am absolutely soft. Like I used to certainly be tougher, but no, as you get older, you just certainly get softer.
Well, now you've got my mind wondering. Who on ESPN Wisconsin is a tough cookie? I think we might lack in the tough cookie department.
I mean, Chewy admittedly is soft now in his old age. Like, he was the best chance. Like, he obviously used to be, amongst the toughest of us.
Tausch?
I think Tausch is our only hope, man.
Yeah, I think so, too. Because I think Jason is self-described soft.
Yeah.
My crew in the afternoon, no shot, right? Between Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, no shot there. Homer? Is Homer a tough cookie?
I think he can handle the cold probably as better than most. Although ever since he misplaced his old CFL sideline jacket that he used to have this big trench coat type thing that he loved because the pockets were so deep. It was like a Renegades, or was it a CFL jacket? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was a Renegades jacket that he just he could sit outside for hours in that thing. It would keep him so warm.
I should have borrowed that from him had he not lost it, because I think that's the department I'm lacking in most. Legs are good, hands are good, feet are good. Arms a little chilly, but I'll survive. I'll get that liquor coat going as soon as we're done with the show. That's a real thing, right? That's not just a rumor.
Only one way to find out, pal.
Good advice from Gabe Neitzel. Merry Christmas to me. I like that. All right, time to wrap up the show as we always do. Let's try to walk through this game together because, look, spoiler alert, we both think they're going to win big, right? We probably have a little bit of a variation in our final score prediction. I have them at 38-17. Gabe, do you remember what yours was?
31-10.
Okay, so we're right in the same wheelhouse then. We think this defense will play well against an inept offense. We think the offense will, I imagine, start fast, build a big lead, and we probably see Malik Willis and Chris Brooks in the fourth quarter leading the charge for the Packers offense. What is the most important thing for you early in this game? Is it scoring on the early possessions? Is it dominating? Is it sustained drives with Josh Jacobs 4 yards after 4 yards after 4 yards? Like, in your mind, what is the key to success early that leads to success in a blowout later?
Yeah, if we're talking about, getting off to that fast start offensively, which is what I think both of us want to see, so you can get to the Malik Willis part of the game, in the early, halfway through the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. It starts with Josh Jacobs, and I think that was the big mistake that Matt LaFleur made against the Lions a couple of weeks ago, is they got off to a slow start in that game because I think he overthought it. They know we want to run the ball with Josh Jacobs, so they kind of got off of and got away from what has made them such a successful team post-bye, and it's feeding Josh Jacobs the ball. So I think feeding him early, and then if you want to take a couple of play-action shots off of that, I think that's the recipe for success, but it is riding Josh Jacobs and making sure he gets his touches, because then they can do everything they want to do off of that. It's not a coincidence that Jordan Love, I think, played his best football last year when Aaron Jones ran for 5 straight 100-yard games, and now he's playing his best football when the Packers post-bye have really dedicated themselves to making sure they run the ball. And again, most of that is Josh Jacobs, but Brooks has gotten touches. Emmanuel Wilson certainly has gotten touches, whether that's getting Jaden Reed like he did last week, a couple of touches on some jet sweeps. I think establishing that run and giving, the defense a little bit different run looks every time you give it to Jacobs, that's going to be the biggest key to them getting off to a fast start.
Yeah, not to get too in the weeds, but a name you just mentioned that I want to highlight, and I've done so on Mr. Relevant Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12:30 on ESPN Wisconsin's YouTube channels. Chris Brooks has been really impressive to me, Gabe. He's essentially taken Emmanuel Wilson's snaps the last couple of weeks, but it's like having a fullback out there almost, right? They'll run 2 running back sets with Jacobs and Brooks. Sometimes they'll give Brooks the ball, but it's almost like having a 6th offensive lineman out there with him. So for somebody that maybe isn't super familiar with Chris Brooks or hasn't kept an eye on him, he's a fun guy to watch, to stay locked in on when he's on the field, because he does a lot of things that fly under the radar really well. He's been a really nice pickup for Goody in this Packers offense.
Yeah, he really has been, especially because that's not a spot we thought Chris Brooks was not going to be the one who was occupying that spot. So for him to take advantage of the injuries to that room and just run with all the opportunities he's gotten, good on him. And the other thing I'm interested to see, I know we're probably not going to see much of it. We talked briefly with Rob Domofsky about it, but I'm curious to see what they do with the Luke Musgrave snaps. Because I think if Musgrave, it's probably not really a 2024 thing. It's probably more for 2025. But I think if they can get a version of Musgrave that was first half of last season and pair it with the Tucker Kraft we've seen from the second half of last year and this year, that when they run 2 tight end sets, they can become a very, very dangerous team.
Let me ask you this, and it's going to sound like a stupid question, but I'm just working it out in my head. So Tucker Kraft in your mind, in my mind as well, he has solidified his role as the top tight end in this team, correct?
Correct.
So Ben Sims has been seen in some of these 2 tight end packages, but obviously the ceiling for Luke Musgrave, and no offense to Ben Sims, he's played a nice role for this offense, but the ceiling for Luke Musgrave a little bit higher than Ben Sims. So, and you're probably right, it's probably more a 2025 thing where they're utilizing these 2 guys consistently, but hey, Gabe, let's say he's healthy. He plays 20 snaps tonight, right? And they start working him in more Minnesota. It could actually be a thing, technically calendar year 2025, but we could see more of in the postseason because it just allows them to do some more things in terms of the creativity and the ingenuity that Matt LaFleur is so good at in terms of being a play caller.
Yeah, if Luke Musgrave is as explosive as a player as he showed at times last year, if he can be that guy, I think we've seen that 2 tight end sets is something that can drive teams absolutely crazy. And it's something that Chewy talked about. I mean, again, when you start thinking of 2 tight end sets, I think a lot of people immediately think about the New England Patriots, right? But I honestly think about when the Packers had Mark Chmura and Keith Jackson. Because when the Packers back in the 90s, and it wouldn't happen too often because those guys would kind of rotate and, they had more traditional 2 backs with William Henderson as a fullback. But when the Packers went to 2 tight ends, hey, okay, you want to go with a base set? Okay, we're going to throw the ball because your linebackers and safeties aren't going to be able to match up with Chewy and Keith Jackson. oh, you're going to go light because you're scared of now them throwing the ball, guess what they can do? They can road grade for Dorsey Levens and Edgar Bennett. And I think the Packers can present a similar matchup once Luke Musgrave is fully healthy and able to play a full complement of snaps. I don't know how many snaps that is tonight. I don't know how many snaps that is next week against Minnesota, but I am encouraged by the fact that he is back and he is healthy, and maybe we can start seeing some of these 2 tight end sets we've been dreaming about.
No Quay Walker, no Jair Alexander, no Javon Bullard, no Evan Williams defensively, but I'm imagining it will be no problem for the Green Bay Packers, who are still 14.5-point favorites, about 10 minutes away from kickoff. Gabe, there's no way I walk out of Lambeau Field going, what the hell just happened? Is there? Right?
I mean, it's the NFL. There's always a chance, man. There's always a chance.
Yeah.
I don't see it. But again, the Saints are just beat up beyond recognition. And when you're reading off names that you don't recognize offensively, it's tough. So I don't see that happening. But again, it's the NFL. So I'm never going to be like you were before the Bears game and saying it's a 0% chance, but it's like
I feel like this is a pretty 0% chance.
It's a 1 or 2%. You know,
okay, good.
It's
not you're
high.
close. That's as close
high.
as I'm getting you to 0. So I'll take my wins where I can get them. Here, I'll say this. Which I don't think this will happen, if the Packers somehow lose tonight, which again I don't think happens, I will clear it with HR. I would like to do all 3 hours of Green Bay Game Day ahead of next week's Vikings game in a walk-in freezer. I'll subject myself to that.
I don't know where we would find a walk-in freezer that somebody would be cool.
We've got a wide network, Gabe.
That's true. I don't know who would be cool with you just hanging out in their freezer, because chances are that would have to be a restaurant.
Yep.
And it turns out restaurants have sanitary, expectations and inspections that they have to go through.
And no offense to me, I probably don't fall into those.
Just having a human being sitting in their freezer. It's just not. I'm guessing that's not up to code. I've never worked in a restaurant, never been in, but never been in that part of a restaurant. I would just assume that that's not, part of the deal.
Well, the good news is I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. It's Packers-Saints at Lambeau Field. Packers 14.5-point favorite. So typically I say, hey, make sure you tune into Green Bay Game Night. It starts right after the final whistle. But as of the last few weeks, Mark Tauscher has bullied Homer and company into starting the show when he says the game is over. I imagine they're going to have a pretty good opportunity to do that at some point in the fourth quarter tonight. So I'm guessing Green Bay Game Night will probably start. What do you think, Gabe? About 5 minutes left in the game?
Yeah, I think that's a very high possibility.
And Tausch will be sitting right where I am here at the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio outside of Lambeau Field. Gabe, thank you as always, brother. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you next week ahead of Packers-Vikings.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. And don't forget that Packers-Vikings game got flexed today. It's no longer at noon, now at 3:25.
Which means our program will start at noon on Sunday. I can say on Sunday because it's Monday. So in 6 days, we will begin our pregame show at noon on the 29th. Gabe Neitzel, Brian Bulaga, John Anderson, and myself. Big thanks to Max Meyerson, the executive producer of the Green Bay Game Day radio program. I believe he is with you as well for Green Bay Game Night coming up right after the game. Enjoy the game. Go Pack Go. Should be an easy one tonight. Hopefully I'm not eating those words. This has been Green Bay Game Day presented by the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Cousin Subs